Hello, Chatteroony. It's been a while, hasn't it? Hello. Welcome back to the F1 Community E-Prix series. Let me move my camera out the way so you can see my lovely face. How are we all doing, chat? It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks or so since the last one, but we're back with the British/70th anniversary E-Prix. Right now, it is good to see your faces again. My name, if you don't know already, is Ryan, as I think a lot of you will know. And joining me back once again, of course, is my good friend and fellow co-commentator, Jess. Jess, welcome back to the booth. And Silverstone, it's very hot outside in real life, but in this race, it's going to be spicy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. With dynamic weather definitely playing into factor as well. I mean, it's going to have action everywhere as well. And we decided to spice things up for today's race. Have classic cars and F2s into the mix for the qualifiers.
Indeed, we'll take you through the rules very quickly. It's a new concept we're trying for this week, so it's going to be very interesting. So each group has 3 different cars. So Group A is going to have the 2010 McLaren. Second group is the F2 cars, and in Group C is going to be the 2010 Red Bull. And it's also 50% racers, as we're using the short layout of Silverstone for this weekend's event. It's going to be same rules as applied, one-shot qualifying, fixed setups, and of course, 1 pit stop is required in this race as well. And the top 6 will qualify to the final, which will move to the full circuit, which is the usual style of ruling for the E-Prix final. And the top 2 provisionally will be qualifying for next E-Prix, which is going to be at Spain next week indeed. And we are good to go, Jess, already through our first group of Group A, which is looking very tasty, I would say.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this group. We've got the likes of Verstappen, who has made probably every single E-Prix final in a while. We've got Josh as well. We've got Ghostly Racer, Aaron, Nordy, Candy King, J Mart, CRB, Joe, Not Dimitri, Sam, Hashiko, and Deadly Flu as well. So it looks pretty tasty as well. And I wonder who's going to be those lucky people to join Hypers and Micro in the final.
Indeed. Well, it was originally going to be Hypers and Jay, but unfortunately Jay had to back out due to technical issues. So unfortunately for him, he misses out again on another chance of racing at the E-Prix final. And Michaelander, who was originally going to be scheduled for this group, Jess, makes that jump to the final straight away. And that's a good sigh of relief for him, because he's been swaying a little bit this week.
Yeah, he has. He's been practicing pretty much every day, to be honest. And I think that's going to make the difference for some of these guys who haven't practiced. They need to work a little bit harder, but the ones who have practiced, they'll know slightly what to do in terms of it, and they won't be shot when it comes to near the Hangar Straight, where the short track carries on.
Indeed. Big shout, by the way, to Mark, obviously fellow mod, and also Miss Formula 1 for resubscribing, and also 84 as well for resubscribing again. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. It is great to be back streaming again after a week's absence. There's been a lot of things that I've been doing personally that I needed to sort out. So it is lovely to be back commentating for you again in the E-Prix series. And let's get on with it, Jess, with our first run then of qualifying and with these beautiful looking cars.
Yeah, and as Ryan just said, it was the 2010 McLarens that they'll be driving, and specifically Genie has been put in this group as well, mainly because he likes the McLarens as well. And speaking of Genie, let's go on board with him as he goes through the cut-off point for the short circuit. Luckily, he didn't bin it there, and he knows it's a short circuit as they go towards the Hangar Straight now into Stowe. Doing quite well, actually, trying to go to the left-hand side a little bit, going towards Stowe now. The track limits are quite strict around this circuit, so if you hit certain bits on the circuit, then that's it. Then you're qualifying over, as Josh has just found out, as he's invalidated, I believe, or binned it. But Genie's going to come across the line now, but it's not Genie that's going to take pole. It is Nigel, who won Group C's one last time about, but unfortunately he couldn't make it to the finals last time. But good news, chat, he will be able to make the finals if he just qualifies. So Nigel's looking like to be the favourite.
Indeed, and it's good to see him actually going to take part in the final, because I've mentioned multiple times in the E-Prix broadcasts, Nigel is no slouch. He's a quick driver, and it's going to be great to see. If he qualifies, of course, we've got to mention that. We've got to take him with a pinch of salt for now. He could be one to keep an eye on, I think, in that final. And also, Shazam as well, making his debut in the series, Jess, and in P2 already showing some good pace.
A lot of people in the 47s. I'm very impressed actually with those lap times. I mean, this is a really fast group. We've got Shazam, we've got Deadly Flu in third, then CRB, Hash, Candy King, Ben in 7th place. We've got Nordy, Not Dimitri, J Mart, and It's Distinctive. Only found out he was going to race 5 or 10 minutes ago, just in that bubble in P11. So very impressive for him. And we've got Ginny, Sam, Aaron, Ghosty Racer, Joe, and then Josh, who invalidated. Josh.
Of course, it's strict corner cutting as well, by the way, which I know a lot of you will be very happy to hear that, of course, as well, and that does include the final as well. For this event, Jess, I thought it is obviously the 70th Grand Prix, 70th anniversary race this weekend in real life. I thought I spiced the final up a little bit, which only me and Mark know about, so that's going to be very juicy for the viewers to know, and the drivers have no idea about this. So if you're qualified, good luck, because it's going to be very interesting. And we're trying to replicate England in a nutshell, basically. So you may see something. You may see a heat wave, because it's going to get very juicy later on. But we're going to get ready to go then, Jess. Any predictions of who do you think is going to be the surprise package in Group A to qualify?
CRB's been looking good in practice, according to inside sources. So I've got to say, I think CRB could have a shot in qualifying. He's 4th place at the moment. And if he keeps this up, then he should have a really, really good race. He was close in qualifying in Hungarian one. So I think he could have an outside chance here.
Indeed. Should be quite exciting, as I've got a few issues with the replay system. But you can see the drivers then as they come round. Obviously not taking the full layout. We're doing the short layout today for the qualifiers, which is something we haven't done before in the E-Prix series. So we thought we'd give this a go, see how it goes, and if people like it, then we will keep it for these sort of tracks. So the likes of USA, Bahrain, obviously Silverstone, Suzuka will all have short races, and we may do some interesting race formats, which we'll probably be testing over the next couple of weeks. So keep your little eyes out for that one as well. Michael Leonard has also subscribed as well. The finalist for today's E-Prix has hit the 5-month mark, so congratulations to him. And chat, you know what to do for any cheeky subscriptions in the chat as well. And someone asked about where Tom is. He's not racing. He will be joining the E-Prix series sooner than you think.
Yeah, we're not telling you. We're not going to tell you. We're just going to surprise you in the driver's briefing.
Indeed. So we're going to have to wait and see as the drivers now make their way on the grid. You can see the strategies on the screen, Jess. Of course, 1 stop or even a 2 stop for these guys. So tyre wear is going to be a big factor. And I think we're going to get ready to go, Jess. And you can take the realm with this one.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ryan. The 5 red lights are on for the British E-Prix qualifiers in the McLarens. And it's going to be a very long hold, actually. There we go, and it's lights out, and away we go. And already we've got a spinner before we even hit turn 1. I'm not sure who that was, but Nigel's got a cracking start already, pulling away from the rest of the field already by 7/10 of a second. But turn 2 is going to get absolutely spicy as they all go through the tricky chicane. And we got another spinner as well. Luckily, he is ghosted, but everybody else has got away scot-free. It'll be interesting to see how they take this corner. I think they do it fine, so that's not a problem. But Nigel already setting the benchmark.
He is indeed already a second clear of newcomer Shazam right now, and he's looking alright, I've got to say. He's defending nicely against Deadly Flu, of course, a regular part of Marcel Kiefer's community representing them today is Deadly Flu, and he's looking pretty good in P3. Hash as well been one of the dark horses in the E-Prix series in 2020's game, showing real good pace here, and he's in that 4th position. CRB is holding on for dear life in P5 as he's got Candy King, the Finnish driver, down the inside. He's going to go into Abbey, and he gets it nearly done but has to back out of it, who holds into that position. But look how close it is right now as we see an overtake going for the move. That's Dimitri trying to go down the inside of Candy King, and he does indeed get the job done, Jess. It moves up to P6, but it's getting very feisty, and a bit of a train emerging behind CRB for that P5 spot.
Yes, CRB doing well, not Dimitri as well. Indistinctive has gained quite a few positions off the start, so he's done brilliant. He's looking like he's going to get another one as well from Candy King as he goes through the most overtaking opportunity of the circuit around Stowe, and he does it already. 1 place, overtake, and then he'll get into the automatic qualifying spot. So he's looking in a good position at the moment, as we've already seen the first penalty arise, and that's Aaron with a 3-second time penalty, and Nigel's already in the 47s.
Indeed, it is. Oh, someone's gone very wide out there. But one person I want to bring into mind, Jess, right now, Ben, dropped 7 positions at the start down in 14th place at the moment. And he's behind Ginny, of all people, which I'm very surprised to see. Is speaking of Ginny, he's trying to defend against Ben, and he holds on nicely. You see Somali Sam running a little bit wide as well to come onto the hangar straight.
Oh,
and this is not what we expect from Ben, Jess.
No,
down the pecking order.
Yeah, I think he was one of the people that did spin in that one. So that was him. He made a bit of a mistake on the start, which was a bit of a shame. But he's trying to make up some ground. It's still not over him. You know, you can still make it to the final. No, he's not. Oh, no. I think I just jinxed him there. He's out. That is the first shock of the E-Prix series.
Well, that's a bit of a weird glitch I've just seen on my screen.
Oh, my God. Oh.
That is weird. But Ben, out of the race already. I'm not sure if he spun or there was a bit of contact with Ginny. I can't really tell that one as we get a beautiful shot of our race leader here, Nigel. He's already got a 2.5 second lead already. He is definitely going to make a statement here to Hypers, especially to say, I'm coming for the E-Prix win tonight at Silverstone. He's just putting away even more, Jess. This is really impressive stuff from Nigel, from the Misfits Racing League, of course, and a very quick league that is, with a lot of quick drivers in there. So he is showing he has the pace to maybe challenge Hypers for the win tonight.
It's like the Mercedes in real life, isn't it? He's absolutely dominating right now in P1. Obviously, 2010 McLaren is one of the cars who actually won in Silverstone as well. That's why we picked it as one of the cars. And he's taking it like a duck to water at the moment. As we got our first pit stop of the race, and that is Candy King.
Indeed. Obviously, they have to make a mandatory pit stop as well in this Grand Prix. If they don't, they'll be disqualified. So you may see the pit stop counter come up on the screen as well. So in comes Deadly Flu. Is this a scheduled stop? It isn't, because he's getting a new front wing, Jess. So he's had some damage at some point along the circuit. So he's going to get some fresh tyres. And that's a good stop there from his pit crew there. I've got to say, very good stop there from Candy King's pit crew there. So GG's. But this will mean, though, he may be lapped in. This is going to be one of the biggest factors in this Grand Prix. Traffic is going to be a big factor. With only a 50-second or 46-second lap, Jess, we may have some traffic, which could play a role to some of the leaders and maybe switch things up a little bit later in the race.
That's what I like about these types of races, this short races. You're more than likely that you are going to get lapped or lap someone in this race. And to be honest, if they don't get past, it's going to be very, very tricky. Ghost cars are quite tricky to navigate, and it's sometimes a bit of a distraction. But meanwhile, Josh is already in a good spot at the moment. He wants that qualifying spot more than anything right now, and he is right, but well, he's right in the midst of Distinctive. He's trying to go for that qualifying spot as well. It's going to be a ding-dong battle for these two, I bet, for the rest of this broadcast. I'm almost certain, as I think Josh is trying to defend. He's going to the right-hand side. Here comes Distinctive. He wants P6 so badly, but unfortunately, he has to concede for the moment.
But the thing is, they keep on squabbling, and you've got the likes of Joe, who's just done a beautiful move around the outside of CRB for P8, and he's on the charge now. Joe back again for another stint of the E-Prix series. He's got to defend again, this time from CRB on the inside. Runs a little bit wide through Abbey, and coming into the village right now, it's going to be very close, but Joe holds on with a late break and holds on to P8 for the time being. But you can just see how aggressive these guys are going on tyres. We know it's going to be a big factor. We may see 2 stops here, but tyre wear, from what I've been discovering, is very high around this circuit. Even for a 25% race, I've heard people saying 60% tyre wear, apparently a 25% race. So we may see some tactical 2 stoppers here, as Marcus left the session, of course, one of our race stewards, to set Group B's lobby up, which is going to be good to see the F2 cars making a debut in the series as well, which was a predominant feature in our debut series of the E-Prix in 2019's game, which is good to see, as Sam makes this pit stop as one and only pit stop of the race. And very early, I've got to say, for some of these, I would have thought maybe lap 13 would be probably the best shot to hit, would you say, Jess?
Yeah, I think that's what most people did in practice earlier, and I think that's the best move as well. But I've got to say, the host of the lobbies did get to decide what the cars were, and they had some good choices, I must say. So, you know, a great job to Mark and Miss Formula 1 for choosing the cars for us. So if you don't like the cars, you can blame them. Yeah,
don't blame me. I had no insight into this. Maybe. But as we see Shazam Jess getting the fastest lap of the race now, 47.1. Very quick time. Only a 10th off his qualifying time, I believe. So not bad stuff from our debutant. He's actually lost a position to Deadly Flu was in second place. I got that wrong. Again, you can tell I've been away for a week of not streaming or commentating, of course, as Ginny gets a penalty now for corner cutting once again. And we've got a purple sector for Joe as well in Sector 1. So he's on the charge now, the Englishman. He's right on the back of Distinctive. But Josh holding on for that final quali spot. But he has got a penalty, which could play a factor later in this this race, Jess, as the penalties are going to be a big factor, especially for the final position in qualifying.
Just before the hanger straight, that's a common place to invalidate, really, to be honest. I found that out in qualifying. In time trial, I've just kept invalidating there, and I did not know why. I still don't know why I keep invalidating there. Just hopefully these guys know how not to invalidate around that corner.
Indeed, we'll have to wait and see. As get a great shot here going through. Oh, someone's gone very wide there through turn 1. I think that was Joe, and CRB running just a little bit wide through Stowe. Not Stowe, sorry, Abbey. I've got that wrong. I should really know my corners because I've been to this track so many times. I should know. As J Mart's another debutant gets a penalty for corner cutting, which is not good. As they come down the straight, as Raisin as well. Of course, he was another steward, a guest steward for today. So thank you, Raisin. As he's going to be getting ready to join Group B. Of course, we've seen Josh go very wide through there as well. Also, Somali Sam's out of the race as well. He retired in the pit lane, so he's out. So down to 15 drivers at the minute, but still a long way to go yet, as we're not even hit half distance yet in this little short race, this one. But good to try something new, Jess, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's great. And I'm glad we are doing 50%, because if it was 25%, the race would have been done and dusted in 2 laps' time.
I know, just shows you guys how quickly you want to get through there. So it's going to be good to see it. It's going to be good to see the F2s drive around this circuit. I've done a few classic races here, as well as Pokemon has now subscribed for 3 months in a row. Thank you so much to Pokemon. Welcome back to Paddock Club, and enjoy your intermediate tyres. You've pitted for the wets, and you're on the inters, so yes. Good stuff there. You're on a quicker tyre, which is great to see as well. But welcome back to Paddock Club, as we got our first legit pit stop here, Jess, and it's Joe coming in early, and I've kind of given him a can't take his curse, as he's got a penalty for speeding
oh, Ryan.
into the pit lane.
Well, at least I'm not the only one that commentators cursed someone today. It's now
Indeed,
you.
We've got somebody who's spun, Jess. I'm not sure. There's a yellow flag. It's Ghostly Rider, I believe. It's going very slowly. I don't know what's happened to him. I think he's having some issues, it seems.
Front wing damage. A little bit.
Front wing damage, but he's trying to take it back safely. Of course, this car is going to be ghosted, so that's going to be good news for a few people. But that looks like a puncture, I think, as well, on the front left tyre.
That's not
good
for
him.
That's not good.
So that's not good. As race leader's in, Jess. Nigel's in.
Yep, Nigel is in the pit lane doing... Well, he had to respond to the likes of Joe anyway, really, to be honest, as he goes in right now. And Deadly Flu stays out. Shazam's in. We got Josh in. We got Distinctive in. And CRB as well. Will any other people make the opt? Yep, J Marks is going in as well. So I won't be surprised if the majority of people will go in. And there's only a few people still yet to make a pit stop. So if they don't forget, they will get disqualified.
Indeed, that's why we're showing the pit stop counter. So we can see, obviously, the stewards will also be seeing this on the screen as well. They will know if everyone's made a pit stop. So everyone apart from Aaron. Obviously, we know Sam's out of the race, so we're going to discount him from this. So it's Hash, Dimitri, Ginny, and I think that's... and then Aaron as well. Obviously, Deadly Flu's coming to the pit lane as well. And the rest of the field coming in, as well as we hit the halfway stage of this race. And it's going to get even more interesting as Candy King gets the fastest lap of the race as well.
Yep, he does. He wants a bit of glory points anyway, because you never know how penalties are going to come into fruition. So he may still be in the fight for this.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see who comes out where. But so we know Nigel is going to take the lead of the race once everything's gone through. As there he goes, going through as he gets... doesn't get fast enough. That was Ghosty getting a penalty. And he does take the lead of the race as Deadly Flu's just going to come out, I believe, ahead. It's going to be close actually, him and Shazam, and just gets ahead. Does Deadly Flu holds on to that P2 spot, but the gap has dropped a little bit. Now the gap is 2.5 seconds when it was about 4 seconds. So Shazam doing a good undercut there, I've got to say, as well as he closes in for second place.
Yep, he wants a bit of fun anyway. He's got a comfortable gap between himself and Hash anyway, so he just wants to push as much as he can, really. But that means he can save his tyre life, which could come into effect at the halfway stage of the race, which we are actually in now.
We are indeed, as we're seeing Hash trying to hold on against Josh. Josh has done a good pit stop there. He's right on the back of Hash. This is for P4 in the Grand Prix. For the final qualifying spot, it's a bit of good decidedly for Dimitri. He's got a 1.5 second gap at the minute. Well, it was actually 1.5, but Joe has got the move done on Distinctive, who was a last-minute call to get into this E-Prix series, which we mentioned earlier, Jess, as well. Was in the series, but backed out due to some technical issues. But he said he was available, but he had to be dropped down to a reserve. Got the call, like Nico Hulkenberg did, and he's nearly going to be qualifying for the final as well if he doesn't get those penalties.
Be careful that we don't spoil too much of the qualifying that just happened in the real life, because there's still people from Channel 4 that's still going to watch it, so don't spoil it in chat. But anyway, we got someone going for the move on Hash by looks big. It's Josh actually going through, so he's going to try and get a good line through there, but Hash closed the door on him like Hulkenberg did, so that's Hash. He is staying in P4.
Indeed, he is on board with Josh then as he goes through then. To start another lap, of course. We're on to lap 16. We've got 11 more laps to go, but it's going to go like in 5 minutes, so it's a very short lap. 40-odd seconds lap, so Josh is going to try the outside move going into someone. Oh, a little bit of a squeeze there from Hash there, just slightly, but not really gain anything there, so it's okay for now. The stewards will look into that slightly, maybe, and just give a little slap on the wrist to Hash, maybe, but great shot here, Jess, going down the hangar straight. You can see this lovely circuit, Silverstone, one of the favourites for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, and just to let you know, I think the stint is Jensen Pace. You remember him? I think that's him.
It is Jensen, yes, he is. He did change his name to Distinctive. So he's back. Of course, he had a couple of weeks off. He wanted to get himself prepared. He wanted to, freshen his mind, and he's back, and he's ready to go. And to be fair, he's not done a bad job there, as Sam's AI is back in the pits. So, of course, he did retire. Of course, he did do it in the pit lane, so it's all good for the stewards. So just to let them know that Sam will not need any penalty points. But we've already given one already to someone who did sign up for the E-Prix series. Who, of course, if you get signed up and you get assigned a group, you have to race it. And, of course, he had to back out. So it's a breach of the rules, and he gets a penalty point. So we'll announce those later in the week as we see Josh going for the move again on Hash. It's round 2. And he's going to try the outside move, Jess. Wow. So this is going to be a brilliant move. And it is indeed. What a cracking move there from Josh Merrin. Moves himself up to 4th and gets now on the charge now to try and catch Shazam and get on that podium. Don't
forget, he's still got that penalty, and he's going to try and get some clear air so he can get rid of that deficit and make sure he qualifies. Because the danger is he's got to be careful about Jensen, who's pushing every lap. Because if Jensen gets within that 3 seconds of Josh, then Jensen will go through. So, it means business for Josh, obviously, unless Jensen has a penalty too, which I'm not entirely sure. I'll double check in a minute, but we shall see. But Josh is holding on for dear life right now, and so is Hash. Hash is going to go for round 3 by the looks of things.
It does indeed. They're going to get a little bit situated. Nigel continues his little run, getting the fastest lap of the race now, 46.8 for him, as he's going to be comfortably going through to the final, unless he gets some cheeky penalties. But we're going to have a quick drinks break from me and Jess, as we're going to have a little bit of fluids, as we need to keep freshened up, as we obviously going to be commentating for a bit. So we're going to give you fan immersion right now on board with Distinctive, as we're going to give you a cheeky lap of the circuit, and we'll be back in about 40 seconds time. So Jess, enjoy your drink. I'll have a quick slosh of water. And guys, enjoy a lap of Silverstone on board with Distinctive. So Jess, as we just seen there, Joe gets a penalty again for corner cutting. I think his chances are probably gone now of qualifying. We believe he's got 14 seconds of penalties, which is quite a record for a short layout, I have to say.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you get too many penalties around this short layout, you will risk the disqualification. So Josh has got to be a bit wary in this final 6 laps, of course, but he's not in a position to qualify yet anyway, so I don't think it's going to matter. But he's going to drop outside the top 10, so he won't be getting any points at all. But we are seeing people start to close up massively. This is going to get very, very intense right now. Hash is still within that window to get 4th place off Josh. I'm actually going to check Hash's penalties, actually. I'll see if Hash has got a penalty as well. And he doesn't. So, yeah, he'll get P4 from Josh if he keeps this up.
Indeed. Big shout out to Joshua Disco, back in Paddock Club for 2 months in a row. He says, hey, Paddock Club, I'm back in business. That's all we want here. But Josh, welcome back to Paddock Club. And also King Mash as well is back in Paddock Club for 2 bumps in a row as well. Welcome both of you back. Chat, you know what to do. Get those Lando poggers in the chat. As we see an overtake, Jess, as well as CRB and Ginny going side by side. And also Candy King's joining in the mix as well. And this is going to get very spicy between these three. There's only for 9th place, but these could still qualify if they've not got any penalties.
Yellow flag somewhere. I need to get the track map, actually, because I forgot to enable it. And it's gone, so we don't know who it is. So, yeah, the final few laps, they've really got... This is where the tyre wear starts to go, really. And no one has made a crucial 2-stop yet. So, it gets around 50% around here in this point of the race, which I found out when I was practicing before the driver's briefing. And, you know, it's just so hard around here. So, they just got to save their tyre wear very well around here, because otherwise it could cost them.
Candy King got the overtake done on Ginny into Vale and Club, so good move there from Candy King up to 10th place. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap now, so Distinctive still in with a sniff here of qualifying. He's only 2 seconds behind Dimitri, and he's pulled a second already in the last couple of laps as well, so I would not count out Jensen here, aka Distinctive, just yet, and he's actually closing up on the back of Hash and Dimitri. The gap's now 1.5 seconds with only 3 laps to go. Or 4 laps to go. He's got a bit of a sniff here of maybe qualifying, but as long as he closes that gap, Jess, and doesn't get any penalties, he could be on here, because you've got to remember Josh as well has got those penalties to play with as well.
Yeah, it will be interesting. We have seen in pretty much every E-Prix series in 2020, we've seen at least 1 or 2 people go down a few positions due to penalties, and that costed their chances of qualifying. So, you know, it's the part and parcel of these E-Prix series. You've got to keep it clean, and it shows who's been practicing and who hasn't really with these corner cutting situations. There's some corners you can extend, but most of it you can't, and they've just got to know where to extend and where not to, really. As Nigel, he's on the cusp of making it into the final, and he's going to have a luxury of getting a car of his choice as well.
Indeed, Joe in the pit lane again, so maybe he's going to go for a cheeky fastest lap here. He knows he's not going to qualify, but he maybe wants to get a fastest lap award, so fair play to Joe. I think just Jensen very close to getting the job done on, or was that? No, that was Hash, actually.
I was going to say, what are you saying, Ryan?
Distinctive. Hey, it's the sun, I'm blaming it on sunstroke, I tell you right now. But we've got a battle emerging, Jess, as well. This is not going to make any difference, because they're both qualifying, but Deadly Flu versus Shazam on debut as well with 2 laps to go. And I think Shazam thinking he wants to show his potential and show a statement to the finalists already of Michael Under the Hypers that he could be a contender as well. And he's only 3 attempts behind, so that's going to be very interesting as Candy King Jess gets the job done, moves up to 8th place as well. Don't count him out as well of qualifying, because he can maybe have a little sniff as well if penalties coming to fruition as well. But the battle at the minute is for P5 between Hash, Dimitri and Distinctive as well. They're all close with each other as Nigel is going to start the final lap of the race.
Yeah, and just so you know, no open lobbies, chat. There was a few questions. No open lobbies. It is the E-Prix series, and sign-ups were open on Monday and were closed yesterday. So people had their window. It's now shut. And I did see someone go for a move there, potentially, but that didn't quite work. But there we go. As Nigel is definitely showing a statement, and so is Deadly Flu as well. But he could be shortchanged soon.
It will. You never know. As Chidi gets a penalty for corner cutting, and Nigel, I believe, as we've got a spinner as well. I'm not sure who that is. Who's spun? It is Aaron. He's off into the side. Just going to hang a straight side for him. But here we go then. Nigel coming into the final couple of corners. Been a pretty consistent drive from him. He's kept it from pole to flag. And Nigel is going to come round Club Corner to win the first race of the F1 British E-Prix. And he slaps it in a statement, Jess, as well, with the fastest lap of the race, a 46.6 as well. Good shot from him. Deadly Flu is going to come in 2nd place. Shazam on debut gets P3. But the question now turns to Josh Merritt. Is he going to qualify with his penalties? But there's a big battle going on behind with 3 drivers trying to qualify. Josh gets P4 for the time being. Hash is going to get 5th place, moves up to 4th. And Dimitri up to 5th place. And Distinctive just misses out by 4 tenths of a second, Jess. Cruel world for him. And Josh scrapes through by the skin of his teeth.
That was lucky, Josh, but his last few laps were fantastic. I think you got to thank the people battling behind, because if they weren't battling behind, Josh would have just missed out. So, yeah, Yeah, you can thank them later, but fair play to Jensen for the last-minute call-up. In 7th place, he'll probably take that.
Indeed, I have to say I do agree with you there, but obviously the biggest shock of this group, Jess, is Ben out of
Last
the E-Prix.
as well, last.
Last place, and I think that's his first non-qualifying since his very first E-Prix race, I believe, in 2019, so that's a big shock, I've got to say, for Ben. Was very strong in practice this week, and sadly, he ain't going to make it for the first time, which is a shame, because I would like to have seen him there, but he's going to have to qualify again next week at Spain, but I know he's quick round there, so we don't count him out of qualifying, as Josh gets driver of the day as well, which is very good to see for him as well. But Jess, do you want to take us through the final classifications for Group A?
Yeah, I'm
Once they come up, of course.
loving these suits, by the way. They're pretty good. So, have you got it up on your screen, Ryan? Have you skipped the podium?
No, got the podium still on, Jess, as we'd like to see that there as well. But I want to say a big GGs to all of you in the chat. We're almost hitting triple digits for a guy who have not streamed in a week. So thank you, chat. Let's see if we can hit 100. That'll be great. I would love that.
Please.
It would be amazing if we could do that as well. And the results are now on the screen, Jess. So
okay. So Nigel takes a win with a fastest lap as well. Second place, Deadly Flu. Both of them did not get any penalties. Shazam in third, Hash fourth. Not Dimitri making it through to the final as well. He's back in business there. Josh in sixth in the final qualifier, with Jensen just missing out. CRB also just missed out as well. In 8th, Candy King in 9th. A good comeback actually as well for him. And Genie in 7th place after he started quite low down in qualifying. So I think he'll probably take that as well. J Marts, Nordy, Joe, Aaron, Sam, and Ghostly Racer. And then your only non-finisher in this race is Ben. But I've got to say, I'm excited for Group B's race. It's the F2 cars. They're coming back.
they are indeed. The F2s are back. It's been a while, and a lot of people have been requesting this car to come back at the E-Prix series. You're getting your wish, chat. It's finally here. It's finally here. And my game has died.
I'm having trouble actually I'm having trouble actually. Oh, there we go. Oh, because I went out. I forgot to go out and spectate. There we go.
My game is a black screen, so there's a slight delay. So, Mark, I might need another invite, mate, if possible. Right now, that'll be fantastic. Because my game has died on us, chat. So, in the meantime, whilst we wait for this, apologies, chat. So, Jess, we'll talk about the next tracks then, of course. We've got Spain next week. And then the week afterwards, we've got Spa. A great track, two great tracks, two different characteristics. What are your thoughts on those tracks?
Well, I think Spain, it's a Marmite track. You either love it or you hate it. And to be honest, it's not really a good track for racing, but it's provided good battles in the E-Prix in the past. We actually, I think it was the second or third E-Prix race, I believe. So it brought out quite a bit of action, I've got to say, especially in Tom's E-Prix as well, where that was quite interesting as well. And then we got Spa as well. El Rouge, Radion. Oh, that's going to catch people out, I've got to say. But we will bring you a lot more E-Prix action, which is going to be great. I'm looking forward to those two. Anyway, so I'm gonna join the next lobby. So yeah.
I'm in as well, so big thanks to Mark. Thank you, mate. We've also got Ben. Ben's joining as a steward now. Since he crashed out, he's a steward now. So
from now on. From
now on. So Ben's going to be a steward, which is going to be fantastic, of course. So I think we're ready for Group B's race, and this one I'm looking forward to the most, as it is one of my favourite cars I've driven on this game, the F2 cars, which I've got to say I'm a big fan of. So you may see this car in future E-Prix. I'm just saying that right now. We're going to have to wait and see, as we're going to get ready for this one. We've got some familiar faces, and obviously this one, I've got to say, is probably out of the three groups, Jess, the most open in today's E-Prix race.
Yep, indeed. We got Mark in there as well, who actually chosen the E-Prix car for the F2. And 84 is back as well, after taking a few weeks off. And yeah, very, very... Did I actually press spectate? Yeah, I did. That's fine. Because I had a bit of a panic there. But
otherwise, you'll be racing this, Jess.
No, God, no.
As well. But let's get a feeling for this one, Jess. The F2s, different car to the 2010 cars. They're a little bit slower, but they are very demanding on their tyre life. So it's going to be a massive factor tyre wear, especially as it's absolutely gorgeous sunshine, Jess, which is going to even put a little bit of pressure on the drivers with tyre life as well with these cars.
And don't forget, it's not just dry and wet tyres, Ryan, people have got to consider. We've got the tyre compounds come into effect, which I'm not sure if they get to choose in the F2 cars. I'm not entirely sure, but that will play a massive factor, obviously, as well as the red. I need to remember what the red tyres is on the F2s. It's a softs, I think. Yeah, it's a soft
tyre.
Okay, cool. So it's not confusing me. That's all right.
Oh, and Brian's, I think, is going to get an invalidation right there, I think. Well, he hasn't actually. So
No,
that's
he
a
hasn't.
surprise.
It's not red.
That's a surprise. He went very wide at Abbey, I've got to say. So very surprised he got away with that one, I've got to say. But the sounds of the F2 cars are just godly. But surprising, Jess, at the minute, Nix is on pole position at the minute provisionally. So that's a surprise, I've got to say, from him. And Mark down there in P3 as well. So we're going to go on to the pole sitter right now, Nix, as Enaz as well. This is a very surprising top 6, I've got to say, at this present time.
Except Mark.
Except for Mark, of course. And Mark now back up to P3, but it's going to be Nix, Jess, who's going to get pole position in the very beautiful Arden livery and gets it indeed with a 50.9, of course, and quite comfortably, I've got to say as well. So very impressive, I've got to say, from Nix there for pole position.
Yeah, quite a few debutants doing well, obviously in the top 10, I've got to say. So well done to them. And Enaz, a big surprise as well, P2. So I've got to say, Enaz, I think, is going to do a great job as well. So we've got Nix, Enaz, Alza. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Alza, there we go. Then we got Mark, Johannes, Chaddy. Nice to see Chaddy back, actually. And I didn't scroll down quick enough.
I didn't either. But I want to give a big shout out to a couple of people. Joe Kempson is now 1 year subscription to the channel, which is madness. And he's now on the soft tyre. So GG's, Joe, and welcome to the soft tyre, mate. You're going to love it. I tell you right now. Deadly Flu as well is switched from the wets to the intermediates. He's now 3 months in a row. Thank you so much, Deadly Flu. Welcome back to Paddock Club. Also, Ginny is back as well with a tier 1 sub. He's also off those wets onto the intermediates as well. And he gets a Pogger's debut penalty point in the E-Prix series. Ginny.
What, did he reset to track?
I think he did, which is always nice to say it right now. But thank you so much to all three of you, you absolute legends, and welcome back to Paddock Club as well. And it's good for them, Jess, because if they subscribe, if anyone subscribes, they get priority access to signing up for the E-Prix races, which is a big thing.
Yep, indeed, and that's why a majority of these guys are Paddock Club members, so it's good to see. And we got inside sources, actually, from our Ted Kravitz of the community, T-Boy, says these F2 cars all have slower pit stops, so if the pit stop is not good, it can cost you an entire lap. So that is what people got to consider in terms of strategy. 15 laps these F2 cars are going to be, so it is actually quite a short race compared to obviously the classics. There we go.
The classic cars indeed, and mix of strategies as well. We've got Brian, Bob and Malone all on the hard tyre. Everyone else on those soft tyre compounds. It is going to be a pit stop in this race, of course, but the tyres are going to play a factor in this one. When will the soft runners pit? They are very demanding from my inside sources on this one. So it's going to be a short 15-lap race, this one. It is still 50%, but the tyre life is going to be a massive factor in this one.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, if they don't make a pit stop, they will be disqualified. But it's not going to be a huge issue anyway, because for the F2s, Jeff will tell you, Jeff will disqualify you if you do that. So that's going to make things a lot easier for the F2 drivers. So I don't think we have to rely on the pit counter this time.
We don't indeed. And Jess, very finally, predictions, surprise.
The person who I predicted to be surprise qualified didn't make it, so I'm scared. Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Chaddy. As the lights are now on, we can hear them in the background. It's going to be Group B, Race 2 of the E-Prix series. The F2 cars on debut in the series. And we've got a jump start as well. That is Mark, I think, jumped the start there, Jess. Or has a host advantage, as we know there's a glitch with the game. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to have to get confirmation.
It is host glitch. It is host glitch. It is host glitch. Otherwise it would have popped up on our screen. So.
But I think he's done the right thing. He's leapt through the position, so he's back to where he was and gets the move done on the inside on Alza up to P2. There's been a collision in the background. I'm not sure who that is. Not 100% sure. Getting a little bit of lag as well from the game. It is getting hot here. My PC's melting, but hopefully we can get to the end of this race, which is obviously the most important factor of all. But crucially, though, our pole sitter, Jess, down to 5th place. Not a good start for the Arden driver.
No, that's not good. We were also seeing Johannes trying to make a move on Mark going into Stowe, but couldn't quite make it. Mark's now up into P2, and we got Nix. Oh, that is a huge collision between Nix and Alza, and quite a few other people as well. Nix is down to P14.
I think Nix lost it under braking and lost the back end a little bit there. He luckily avoided any collision, so I think the stewards will be a bit lenient there, but it was a very late move there, attempt from Nix, and he's gone from pole to 14th place. He's got a lot of work to do to qualify in this final. We know he's quick from his quali time, but it's all about the race. We've got a spinner there as well. That's Shaddy as well. My dark horse has gone for a spin as well in Jack Aitken's car. Not what we wanted to see, and commentator's curse has struck again, Jess.
And same for Brian, he's down in 14th as well. And CJ is spun into, and he reset to track. You know what that means, penalty point.
Indeed, I didn't see it on camera, but I'll take the word for it, Jess.
I did, I saw it, so all good.
Good stuff, so all good. So it's always good to have fellow people stewarding the race, which is good. Ben's obviously watching as well, which is going to be very interesting indeed. By the way, chat, sign-ups for Spain will be going live tomorrow afternoon, so make sure you keep your little eyes out on Discord to sign up, and sign-ups will close again on Friday night, so you've got a week, well basically 6 days to get yourselves entered into the E-Prix as well, and we may see a new change of format for the E-Prix events, which may try out for Spain, so keep your little eyes out for that one. Maybe a bit juicy, but I've got to say Anna's doing pretty good, Jess, as well. 1.5 seconds clear of Mark in P, who's leading the Grand Prix actually. Mark's got a bit of pressure from Joanna's behind as well, about 3 attempts behind, and it's nice to throw a little few different new cars into the mix as well, as we go on board with Johannes now, as he's going to try and get P2 from Mark.
This is round 2 or round 3, I've got to say, and I can't remember when the actual pit stop. I can't remember what the strategy was as well. I don't think it popped up on my screen, so it's going to be a surprise for both of us actually. As I did see Johannes get the fastest lap for a moment there, so well done to him.
He did indeed. He did get the fastest lap there. So GG's to Johannes, and maybe mounting a statement, of course, to Mark to say, yeah, you're ahead of me at the minute. But of course, Jess, for the first time and the only time in the qualifying races, DRS is enabled in this race to the drivers. So they'll get a little bit of slipstream down the hangar straight, and only one DRS zone for this one. As we've got a spin as well. That's Raisin's gone for a spin as well. Raisin, he's gone for a spinneroonie. In the words of Ginny Spinny Carey, he's dropped to 15th place and not where he wants to be, of course. We know how quick he is, and he looks like he's not going to qualify.
That is going to be a shame, of course. We've already seen one shot. We don't want any more shots, please. Just keep it clean, guys.
Indeed, he's back to P10 as well. Nix, by the way, as well. As we've got a first pit stop of the race already, Jess, and it's Shaddy coming in. He just got a penalty as well for corner cutting, and he's going to make the pit stop now. Get out of the way, and also Razin's coming to the pits as well, and that's a very slow pit stop, of course.
Ooh.
It's going to be a shortened, a longer pit stop as well, and he just gets ahead of Raisin right now, or Razin, or whatever you want to say, of course.
I don't even know.
In he goes, and he's getting a new wing as well, we can see as well, so it must have picked up some damage as well in the process as well, so very, it's a very slow pit stop, this one. This is going to hurt Raisin or Razin or whatever you want to say so many times, and away he goes, and Avalanche gets a penalty as well for corner cutting, but it looks like Razin's going to get lapped as well, which is not going to give a bit of any confidence. We've got something going very slowly. There's been an incident, Jess, at the pit lane entry. I'm not sure who that is.
No, I didn't see, but look at this. Nick could get 1 or 2 positions here, and don't forget he started on pole and he did a spinneroonie, and he's going to get a double overtake going into towards, I think it's Abby, I think. Yes, he does, and he's up into P5 and in the automatic qualifying spot at the moment. He's on a charge now.
Indeed, obviously you've got to remember people have taken some pit stops, as we've got our first retiree, CJ, who unfortunately did reset on the track, I believe, as you said, Jess, and he's out of the race now, as we've got another person pit lane. 84's in the pit lane, as he's making his pit stop as well, and we've got a whole flurry of people coming to the pit lane. We've got Enaz, Mark, and Johannes all making their pit stops, and this is going to play a critical role now, as there's a few more people coming in the pit lane. With these longer pit stops, Jess, we may see some people being held up here.
Yeah, exactly, and it could cost him the actual lap as well, and from inside sources from T-Boy, of course, and they just got to time it absolutely right. So I wonder if the undercut's going to work or the overcut. We will find out as everybody, surprise, well, not really surprised, opts for the hard tyres due to these really hot conditions in track temps in the game, and obviously real life, of course.
Definitely indeed as well, and CJ got the barrier glitch. Ooh, that's
And he owned up for reset to track, so I didn't lie, Ryan.
Oh no, fair play, CJ. You're one of the few people who actually admit to resetting on the track, so fair play, mate. Fair play, and unfortunately they had the tyre glitch as well, which is something I've not seen before, but when Sears Alzer's pitted, Jess, and unfortunately for him, he's got a penalty, so that's going to hinder his chances, and it's a big one as well. 5-second penalty for speeding that pit lane, which is going to hurt you massively around here, especially with the short lap we've got here.
Yeah, exactly. We got another yellow flag. Pit entry? I did see someone spin.
It's Malone. I think it's Malone.
Yeah, it is Malone. We can actually see the colour codes in these F2 cars. That's one advantage.
That is definitely one advantage. We're just going to check pit stops as well, just to make sure. Obviously, the top 5 have yet to stop in this race. So Nix, Brian, Bub, Malone, and obviously Alzer's in the pit lane. And he's just going to come out the pit lane. So it's going to get close, I've got to say, between some of these cars. And let's see where Alzer comes out. But of course, he's got that 5 seconds on his radar now as well. So he's going to come out in about P8, which is going to be, I think, provisionally P4 in this event. And that's going to be a massive moment for him. But he's got a gap to Will Booty behind of 5.3 seconds. So Will must be aware of this penalty, as we got Nix coming in the pit lane. Of course, the pole man who had the spin was last position and is up to P1, is coming in for his final stop as well in this race. With only 7 laps to go in this race, it's going to get very interesting now with strategies going on.
Definitely. And obviously, the pit stop is a lot different in F2s. Obviously, 1 man per jack, and well, they got to do 1 wheel at a time. It's not like F1 where you could do multiple wheels at a time, so that's why it's a bit longer, of course. So let's see where the likes of Enaz and Mark will come out of. Yeah, Nick's dropped quite a few places actually, so yeah, it's pretty costly, but we'll have to wait and see as well. Well, Bob's doing quite well. We could Bob's, I believe is just pitted as well. So yeah, Nick in P, I think it's a net 1, 2, 3, 4 net P5 at the moment.
He is indeed, yes. I've got to say, as Brian now coming to the pit lane. So Malone is the only man yet to stop in our qualifying race. He's got a 10-second lead over Enaz at the minute, who will inherit the race lead. But back at the front, Jess, it's getting very tasty now between Enaz and Mark, which will be for P1 in this Grand Prix, or E-Prix, as Mark's going down the inside on Enaz. There's a bit of contact between the two of them, but they keep it, they're not going to spin out of each other, and they carry on as they are. But Mark really putting the pressure now on Enaz, and it's going to be very close to see who's going to win this group. It's going to be between one of these two, but don't count out Joannes. He's lurking behind, waiting for these two to make a mistake and pounce.
I think this group's going to have the disadvantage compared to the other groups. So obviously they're not racing the F1 cars until the finals, so you know they're gonna be the ones that be practicing quite a lot whilst Group C is going on, just so they can get the feel from the jump from the F2s to the F1s, whoever qualifies.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Messi for following as well. Welcome to the paddock as well. As Malone finally makes his pit stop. So with the final man in, and away he goes. And I don't think he's going to be qualifying in this event, sadly. I don't think, unless a miracle happens to him. As Mark all over the back then of Enaz going into Vale and Club. It's going to be close going into this final couple of laps now. We've got 4 to go in this one. Brian gets a penalty for corner cutting as well. And Joannes lurking behind, as mentioned, as Malone drops down a few fields as away he goes out of the pit lane. Nix, who was spun on the first lap, is now in a qualifying spot, which is just brilliant to see as well. Malone's also lurking as well, and Chaddy as well, but Chaddy's got a penalty to remember as well. And I've got to say, Bub's done a good job as well, making his return after a couple of E-Prix out, actually. The last one was in France, I believe.
Oh, sorry, Ryan, I had to interrupt you there, as I think Will making a bit of a mistake, and that's put Bob back into contention for qualifying, as I think we got past Will quite nicely, actually. And this is Bob's chance now. He hates these F2 cars, so it'll be amazing for the stream if Bob gets through. And we got about to leave, Ryan. Oh, Mark spun a little. Oh, that was almost a half spin, but yeah, don't get too feisty, lads, because otherwise you'll lose your chance of qualifying.
Oh yes, of course, we've got a bit of a lock-up there going into the corner. Bub and Shaddy going side by side. Shaddy holds on for the time being, but of course, Nix gets the fastest lap, by the way, as he's now on the charge now with a 51.6, I believe that was. But it's getting very feisty now for this, once again, for the second race on the road. This is for the final qualifying spot in the E-Prix right now. It's getting very feisty between 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. Right now, all 3 cars squabbling for one position. We know Chaddy has definitely got a penalty. Will gets a penalty as well for corner cutting, but he's not really in this fight right now. And one thing to mention, Jess, 2 of them are on soft tyres. Chaddy, unfortunately for him, is on the hard tyre, and he's just got to hang on for dear life. But I think it's going to be game over for him, as here comes Bubba trying on the outside going into Stowe.
Here they go. This is for the final spot. We don't know about the penalties, of course. I'm going to keep it a surprise. And Bub gets the job done. Wow. Bub is doing quite well with the comeback. Oh, look at, Brian. Brian just went for a little bit too risky move there, and it might have hurted Chaddy's chance just a little bit there, and even Brian's chance too.
Yeah, I think Chaddy got away with a bit no damage there, so he's a lucky boy, but I think Brian got a bit of damage on his front end plate. So I think his chances have now gone in this event. Oh, very wide through Vidic there. I've got to say, very wide after Abbey. So I wonder if he's got some form of damage as well. Can't see any damage on his car right now. So there's a little bit of a lockup as well going in there. And actually, you can see Chaddy has got damage there on the right-hand side of his car, which is going to hurt him massively. So that could be maybe a steward's inquiry going in potentially right now. And it's getting very tense this as well, with only a couple of laps to go in this event, as the lead is starting their penultimate lap of this race, and it's business as usual. But look at this though, Jess. Johannes is also on the back of the train. It's a freeway scrap for the win here in Group B's race, and it's looking very tasty.
We've never seen this in a while in an E-Prix race. I'm excited. I'm glad that these guys are giving a ding-dong battle, I've got to say. I'm really excited to see how Enaz could try and defend. If he defends this, that would be amazing, of course, as Malone gets a time penalty. Someone that just spun in the penultimate corner, that was Avalanche, sadly. So I don't think, no, he's not going to qualify at all. But Johannes, he could just sit pretty at the moment, I think. He's qualifying. He can't make too many mistakes really, as long as Johannes doesn't get a penalty. But, you know, that's what I would do. Just stay behind these two, and I'll be absolutely fine for the finals. If you try for the move and get it wrong, their natural chance of qualifying gone. So Johannes, I think, has just got to stay on the back of these two, and he should be fine.
Indeed, on to the last lap then of Group B. It's going to be a tense finish, this one, between Enaz, Mark and Johannes, but don't count Nix out. Nix is coming for the I was going to say the pair of them there, but it's the 3 of them right now, as he's really gaining, and he's impressing me right now. He could be one to keep an eye on in the final as well. Raisin gets a penalty for corner cutting, as Mark gets a penalty, Jess. That's a massive moment in this race. He ain't going to win this one now, but it's going to be Johannes now getting some slipstream. Down the inside, he's going to go down the hanger straight, going into Stowe corner for Mark. He's just going to back out of this. He's got to hold on, not have any contact. They're going to go side by side through Stowe. Mark holds on for the time being, and it's going to be close, this going into the final 2 corners here. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be Enaz, who's going to win Group B's race just by the skin of his teeth. Great battling throughout this race between him and Mark, and it's going to be Nix who's going to win the race, Jess, with penalties galore. But the top 4 have booked their places in the final, but Nix coming out with that one with a win from being spun on the first lap. That is an outstanding performance, I've got to say, from him there, Jess. Outstanding. And
we lost one other driver, and that's Will. And Bob has just missed out on my dark horse. He's qualified. Brian.
Yeah. Brian did indeed get in. He's just got in by just a shy of a second there as well. So he's another lucky boy. And I think Will sadly lost it out of Stowe and has crashed into the barrier, which is a shame for him,
Aww.
sadly. But that was a little cracking race with the F2 cars. I think we've just made a statement, Jess, to say these F2 cars could be something for the future, maybe, the E-Prix series.
Yeah, I've got to say, and Bob gets driver of the day on the game, but I've got to say, driver of the day, I think the chat could agree as well, of this race, it's got to be Nix.
Yep, Nix for me, hands down for that one. Outstanding drive from being spun out from pole position to win the race is pretty impressive. He finished in 4th technically on track, but his drive was outstanding to be that close, and fair play. Fair play to him. And Bob got a penalty as well, Jess, on the last corner of the race, which cost him a shot of qualifying for the final, which is a real shame to see. And that is a big oof, I've got to say, for Bob. Real shame for him. And he's out, sadly.
That is a shame, but I I've got to say, good performance from him after qualifying P15 as well. Malone after qualifying P16. You know, it's a true theme in the midfield. People going up from low down to actually scoring some really good points. And yes, there has been penalties galore right now. So we got Nix, Enaz, Johannes, Mark, Alza, Brian. Those are the 6 they'll be qualifying. Then we got Bob, Malone, Chally, who just missed out. 84, Razin, Air. Another big shocker who didn't make it into the final. Marquez, Will, and Avalanche. And obviously CJ did not make it either. Oh, actually, I think Will Booty's qualified. No, not qualified. Classified, should I say? Because I think he binned it on the final lap or something. So yeah, I think so is Avalanche as well. So we're fair play.
Yeah, I've got to say to Nix as well, fair play to him as well. He has the Clean X award as well. He didn't have a single penalty as well, so fair play.
Yep.
Fair play, Nix, and he's looking very confident going into the final. Michael Lander in the Alpha Tauri. We've got Hypers, of course, in the McLaren because he's contractually obliged to be in the McLaren due to Veloce and McLaren's partnership. Prima, of course, is in the... I can't remember who Prima is, actually. Alza, sorry, is in the Renault. Enaz in the Racing Point. Nigel in the McLaren will be Hyper's teammate. Nix is in the Racing Point. Deadly Flu in the Red Bull. Mark in the Mercedes. Hash in the Alpha Tauri. Alexander in the Red Bull. Johannes in the Alfa Romeo. And I need to put on Spectate because I'm a donut. Josh in the Renault. Dimitri in the Alfa Romeo. Brian in the Haas. Superfan in the Williams. Akaz in the Ferrari. Lemmy in the Haas. Max O'Connor in the Mercedes. Ace in the Williams. And Newbie Doo in the Ferrari. And that completes the 20-man field in this final race. And
come on, ready up, guys.
Hyper, I'm ready up as well, chat.
Yeah. We want to
We want to start. One thing to mention to the pair of you, for the first time ever, in a long time since France, we've got custom weather to throw in the mix as well, which the drivers are not aware of. This was a last-minute call that I made a few hours ago, so I am going to inform you both in DMs, so no one knows what it's going to happen. So,
are you not going to surprise us, Ryan?
Actually, you know what, Jess? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell T-Boy.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to know. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah. I like the surprise aspect. So you know what? I want to have my live reactions on there. So yeah.
I think the snow is a bold choice, Ryan. But you know.
Yeah. The snow. Cold. It's going to be cold. Let's just say that.
Silverstone in August. It can be known to be cold up there.
Have you done the custom for qualifying as well?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I've seen the weather conditions and I can confirm
it's snowing.
It is snowing. There is a little bit of hail as well, just to keep things going. Josh trying to second guess Ryan. Josh, that isn't always true, mate. So we have to find out.
You have to wait and see. Mark, the final man, of course. The luxury of this final as well for these drivers, if they disconnect, they get a straight up invite and can get back onto qualifying. So this is going to be interesting, I've got to say, to see if anyone can stop Hypers from winning this race. It's going to be interesting, this final, and it's great to be commentating it with yous right now. You can also watch the POV of Hypers. If you want to watch that, you can do, as he is streaming right now as well, the final. So if you want to watch his POV, he is streaming right now on Twitch. But if you want to stick around for the broadcast, or if you want to, you can do a cheeky little multi-stream. You are able to do that as well. But for Jess, back on the full circuit, which is going to be a great start for some of these drivers.
Yeah, they won't be. Let's hope they don't get too caught out and not used to the short layout. They got to remember the Wellington Straight this time, and Cops as well. They've got to manage that, and also Maggots and Beckett's as well. And interesting fact: 80% of the lap is full throttle, according to inside sources.
Is indeed. So clay conditions for qualifying. It looks like it's going to be a dry race. I think T-Boy Kravitz can report on that right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a dry qualifying. None of the teams expecting any rain for this qualifying session. There's clear blue skies, so it's going to be nice, dry. Interesting to see that some drivers, Josh, Brian and Max O'Connor, have gone out on the medium tyres, everyone else on the softs, so maybe they're just trying to put a banker in, maybe they're hoping they can start on the mediums, because mediums to soft, as we know, does tend to be the slightly quicker way round the racetrack.
or they know something that the viewers don't know with the weather for the race. Obviously, they have the insight from their teams that know what the weather's going to be for.
Yeah.
Don't
for the
spoil
event.
it. Don't spoil it if you're jeffing. Don't spoil it.
Yep, if you're jeffing, don't spoil it. But one thing I want to show to the viewers, the debut of the Black Mercedes is making its first appearance in the E-Prix series. And a great initiative there from Mercedes to support ending racism, of course. And what you want to see is Auser is out of qualifying already. He's crashed on the Hanger Straight, not Hanger Straight, the Wellington Straight there. That's a big shock, that already. And he's out of qualifying after 2 minutes.
That's not good, is it? If we starting at the back of the grid, I think he's just not used to the F2 car, the F1 cars of 2020, I presume. So that is gutting for him.
Indeed, and as mentioned though, T-Boy Kravitz, of course, Mercedes here with the black livery, of course, for the E-Prix series. Great initiative. And I think T-Boy's got a technical issue, so I think he's got a bit AFK. So, Jess, I'll go to that question to you about Mercedes winning the all-black livery for the season in real life, and of course, will be featured in our E-Prix series, and it's a great thing that they've done there to try and make a statement about ending racism.
I really like the whole message. Obviously, we want to cater for all nationalities, all races, and you know it's great that Mercedes are supporting Lewis Hamilton in that stance of the word as well. And you know, I mean, and it looks so good in real life and so good in game as well. So it's one of my favourite liveries on F1 2020. So I'm glad they changed it. I hope they keep it for next season as well, but probably not. We may go back to silver arrows again, but. Mark's there rocking the Lewis Hamilton car as well.
Just good. We're watching Hypers right now. The man who won out in Hungary 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, I can't remember the last time I did an EP race actually. It's been a while. So on board with him, then go through Magda Beckett. Strict corner cutting, of course, is on for the final. So these drivers there, Hypers has got a lot of practice this week doing some social races around here. So he's definitely the man to be on course for pole position. And speaking of which, he's gone purple, Jess, in that middle sector.
He means business, Hypers. He has been practicing, of course, because he hasn't been in... Oh, he's invalidated. So he's going to the pits.
Yeah, went very wide there. Ace out of the session as well in qualifying. I think he's also crashed as well, Jess, as well. Out of, I think that's Cop's corner. He lost the back end there. So 2 drivers out of qualifying in the space of about 4 minutes. So not what you want to see. Let's go on board with Hypers' teammate Nigel, of course. The dark horse in this race, and he's gone purple in the middle sector and looking very strong in that McLaren.
Yeah, he is. Good choice, of course. You may learn from Hypers being in the same team, and this is someone to watch out for going forward. He could be the new John or Kanakini or Michael Landau as well, and this is going to be very, very exciting, of course. And Nigel puts it in P2. What? 24-7. Wow.
Very good stuff. And Nick's coming in with a 24-4 as well. Very strong lap. From the Racing Point, who at one point, Jess, wasn't even going to be on course to qualify after starting on pole position, spinning it on the first lap in his group race, on course for pole position there. Very good lap time there from Nick's on there, and definitely some good lap times there, I've got to say.
You know, he's got that mantra for never giving up, and that's what's helped him qualify here today for this final, and, you know, he got on pole in Group B, and he was very, very impressive.
Indeed, which is the main factor, and good to see there. Michael Landau as well, of course, originally was going to be qualifying for the E-Prix, but with Jay's unfortunate hardware issues he's had with his internet, Michael Landau, last-minute call, got the announcement like Nico Hulkenberg and was like, "Yo, you're in the final, mate. Get your final cap on and get yourself ready for later on." As Hypers is out of the session, I don't know if he's got an issue or he's starting from the back of the field. I'm not 100% sure.
He's in the pits, I think.
I think he is. Has he got an issue or something? But I'm sure the chat is going to confirm that to me if anybody's watching his broadcast. But that's a massive moment, that, and we're going to have a new pole sitter. Is he tactically thinking we'll start on some fresh tyres or what for the race? But
we'll see. It might be his brake pedals again. Could be his brake.
We've just got some confirmation he is starting from the back. He's doing a challenge from last to first. So he's doing a nice thing and letting someone try and go for pole position. So fair play on Hypers for doing that, of course. But we'll see how he is going to start from that back of the field, Jess.
Well, I remember in the invitational race we did around Zandvoort, he started at the back and he went on to, I think he was one of the top 2. I think he went on to win that race. So you know, it's still possible for him to win the race on that. So if he does it, that would be a huge achievement.
Indeed, and yeah, I've got to say, if he wins, he's definitely going to drive of the day, hands down. But it does open up, though, some new people to win this E-Prix event. So that's going to be great to see a new person on the top step and get the Pro Street Sim E-Prix pole position for the finale. As we see a Mercedes getting racked up and ready to go. I believe it's Max O'Connor. You can just see in the bottom right hand of the screen, he is about to head out onto a lap. And as the top 5 there, obviously, debutant Shazam in P4 at the minute, doing pretty good in his final, first appearance of the final as well, which is a pretty good job there. Brian, the fastest man on the medium tyres there in P8 on a 25.8. Not bad from him, I've got to say. The Haas driver looking very strong indeed.
I'm shocked that a lot of people are actually going on the soft tyres early on. So, you know, I mean, I'm guessing that they want to set a banker early so that if it does have an effect in the race, then it could change things up a bit.
Indeed, on board with Mark then as he's going through Magda Beckett's, of course, in the black Mercedes, running as Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes car, and you'll get the DRS out of Magda Beckett. Onto the hanger straight he goes, and grinding right now down the straight, just hitting over 200 miles an hour, then braking into the final couple of quarters then. Stowe taking it in 5th, but short shifts up to 6th gear, nearly runs into a off track there, but he's going to get a lap on the board, which is good news for him. Coming into Vale and Club Corner he comes, and what is this lap time going to be then as he comes across the line? It's going to be only P10 with a 26.1, slower than Brian on the medium tyres, which is quite a surprise, which we may even see, obviously we saw in real life with the soft tyre wearing out quickly earlier on today, Jess.
Yeah, we noticed that quite a bit actually, and obviously last week as well, where it's a different tyre compound, obviously, this week, and it could have a huge difference. We saw soft to mediums in the last game. I wouldn't be surprised if they change things up a little bit more. Some people might try the soft to hard option. We'll have to wait and see, of course.
Indeed, as everybody is out again on their second runs, as we've got less than 10 minutes to go, and we're going to go on board with the man who is currently on provisionally P1 at the minute. Nix is away and off he pops. Let's see if he can improve there. So Jess, want to take us for a lap of Silverstone?
Who is that, sorry? Who's that, sorry?
Nix.
Nix, sorry. There we go. Yeah, as he's about to start his lap. He's on 1 lap old tyres, though, so it might hinder him a little bit. He's got a little bit squirmy heading towards the start of the Wellington straight, but he's doing pretty good so far. He's on pole position, so he's got some time to find for sure, as he is in full power here, going down, short shifting into 4th gear, heading towards these tricky set of corners, which I forgot the name of. I should remember. I think it's Luffield or Woodcott. It's okay. I got it the wrong way around. I'm sorry about that, chap. But now he's going to head to Copse Corner now, which I've got to say, you could take it flat out, but we've seen some drivers lift just a little bit just to make sure they don't bend it through to Maggots and Beckers. It does depend on the setup, really, for these drivers, and also the tyre wear as well. But it's a yellow flag in the final sector, but luckily that went away, so that's not going to hinder Nix's final lap as he goes through the hanger straight now. Purple sector 2 for the racing point. Yeah, 3 temps up, so pretty good, and it would help if I get the sector times up. There we go, so it gives me a bit of an idea as he now goes into Club and Vale now for the how many more times in this qualifying session so far. And he's going to come across the line. Is he going to beat his time? Wow. Yes, he is. 3 temps up. He is he's smashing out of the park. I've never seen anyone in the 123 for 4 round Silverstone. We could see it from this Racing Point driver. If I was Hypers, I would be worried.
I would be worried. That is a strong lap there, as we see now on board with Michael Lander, of course, in the AlphaTauri with the lovely Honda sound and the best looking livery in the game by a country mile. Maybe tied with the Mercedes now as well. He is now onto the back straight he goes, and he's up, Jess, as well by 0.2 of a second. So the track is evolving very quickly, and for Michael Lander, he just gets ahead of, I think that was Hash, I believe, his fellow teammate, as he's coming into the final couple of corners now. And let's see if Michael Lander can mount a response to Nix's lap there of a 24 flat. That is a very strong lap, I've got to say, as you mentioned there, from Nix. And Michael Lander moves up to P2, only 2 and a bit tenths off the pace right now, as Nigel was provisionally P2 but drops to P3. Very good lap there from Michael Lander.
I wonder what Hyper's lap time would have been if he did take part in qualifying. So I know he set a hot lap on his channel, but I'm not entirely sure. But it will be intriguing, actually. As Dimitri, I think the only driver, well, he's in last place at the moment. He's looking to make his way up the leaderboard, and he goes into 10th place. And don't forget, if you qualify in the top 10, you have to start on the tyre you set your fastest lap on. So for everyone apart from Brian, it's the soft tyres, and Dimitri is set a 126 flat. That's crazy.
I know, exactly. I think T-Boy's back in the booth,
Yeah,
I believe.
I apologise for that. My headphones decided that it wanted to play you through my headphones about 4 times over, which was off-putting. So I think I've fixed it. If I have to vanish again, you know what the issue is. But I've been watching everything going on in the background. Pointless fact for you two. The first ever motor race at Silverstone was won by a driver with the number 18 on their car. What number does Nick's have on his car? Number 18. I'm
wow.
not saying it's fate, but that's the way it goes.
Wow, that's a very interesting stat as well. But Newbie, where are you? You're on the screen as you're coming into Stowe Corner, and he's also gone purple in that middle sector as well. So the track is evolving quickly, and you can see as well, T-Boy Kravitz, it's getting a bit dark out there.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely getting dark. I've also had a message passed up to me from the Mercedes garage. There's some sort of issue with Mark's car. They think he's lost some speed somewhere. They're not sure if he's dropped a cylinder or something, but he's not showing his representative pace. So I expect Mark to do a lot more in the race than he's doing in qualifying.
Indeed, and Nubidoo plots himself into 5th place with a 24.9. Very close from 3rd downwards, I've got to say. Got 4 attempts, covers 3rd down to P7. So it's very close, I've got to say, between them and those guys. But coming into the final 5 minutes of qualifying, Jess, it's going to get interesting, and I think it's game time for a lot of these drivers, especially Mark and Josh down the pecking order, which we don't want to see, of course.
Bring it on. It's calm before the storm coming up pretty soon in about a few minutes' time, and they really got to get out quickly, because if they think it's dark and they've not checked the weather, you know, they can't leave it to chance. If they're not out on a flyer, then they're not going to have a shot for pole position, and we could see a brand new pole sitter of Nick's. Maybe Nigel could stop Micro as well. You'll never know. As Nick's on his out lap now, he's done the right thing going out now. Maybe he's seeing things that I'm not seeing, because obviously T-Boy and Ryan know.
It's definitely getting dark. I've just had a message from Alex, who is Mark's jet. He had an oil leak, which that's why he's so slow. So hopefully Mark can do
P7.
Something. He goes P7. That's a good dat from him, but we know he can do better. So whatever these issues are, hope he can sort it as those yellow flags.
Yellow flags out.
Moving out the way.
Moving out the way as well. Nigel, Nick's out there on their laps, and also Michael singing the pits. He doesn't want to go out just yet. He just wants to chill. But these overcast conditions, Jess, are going to cool the track, and it's going to make lap times go even quicker. So that's going to be very interesting to see what the lap times are. We could potentially be getting a 23 in a minute from Nix and maybe even Michael which is just outstanding pace, I've got to say. He's
on a lap now, Nix, as he goes for the potentially the penultimate time, or even the final time. You never know with these conditions, and you know, we'll see how he does in sector 1 now, and he's going to definitely show a statement at the moment. Obviously, Josh down there in P15, obviously he's committed to the medium tyre strategy at the moment. So he's got the DRS flap open very quickly, actually. He is flying at the moment in the Wellington Straight. Wow, 600s quicker than his previous best, and he's purple sector 1.
He is indeed already gaining a couple attempts a lap there. We could see a 23 here, potentially. We've got a Haas, I believe, out on the Wellington Straight, Aintree corner. I think he's just trying to let people through, I believe. So it's a very good drive from him as he goes flat through Cop's corner there. Completely flat, not even off the throttle there, through turn 1. And he's taking Magda Beckett's very aggressively. Could this be the future esports driver in the making here? His lap times are impressive right now. And he even goes quicker, but not the fastest middle sector we've seen. Only 700s up, though, on his best lap. But he is just off course here to get into the 23s. Lots of yellow flags galore going on, of course, for people letting through drivers right now. And this will be his last lap, I believe. Don't mean to get another lap on the board, but here he comes then into the final 2 corners, and this is going to be an improvement on his lap time. You bet it is.
Wow.
It's a 23.9. What a lap that is from the racing point there, Jess and T-Boy. Your reaction to that lap there?
Phenomenal. Amazing. I was about to say phenomenal, but I pronounced it wrong. That is just crazy how quick he is. I mean, we thought he wasn't going to make it through after that mistake in Group B, and you know what? He's proved all the critics wrong, and it looks like he's going out for another lap. He's warming his tyres up and everything. So this could not be. Let me start that again. This could not be the final lap. We could see Nix on another lap. There we go. Eventually, I got there.
That 123 is just absolutely amazing. The old layout of Silverstone, the bridge circuit, which in my opinion was the best layout, but we won't go into that debate. That was half a mile shorter than the one we're using now. The lap record there is a 1 minute 18 set by Schumacher. So he's 5 seconds, but half a mile. So that is just absolutely ridiculously quick by Nix. I'm just astounded by that lap.
I am as well. I'm astonished by that one. Nigel improved his lap time, but stays in P3. But on board we go with Michael Lander back in the AlphaTauri this time, as he's coming through into Woodcut corner right now, and he's up a little bit on his best lap, but still needs to find just under 4 attempts to try and knock Nix off the pole spot right there. I don't think it's going to happen, but I've got to say a big shout out to Shazam as well, in 4th place on debut in this E-Prix series. He qualified and he's in the top 5. That's an impressive performance, Jess, isn't it?
He's already proving on his time. I think it's a personal best for him as well. And there's a yellow flag in sector 3, so whoever was on the lap, they're going to be hindered in some way, which is not good. But that's not going to stop Shazam. And Nix, his qualifying is done. He can only hope and pray that Michael Lander or Nigel do not improve.
And Shazam improves as well. He moves stays in 4th, but improves. Nubidu's actually had his lap invalidated, so he's done for the day.
Micro's invalidated. He's in the pits.
Yep. So at the minute, it looks like Nix is going to be on pole position, unless anybody is going to surprise us.
Nigel's been there. He's I think run out of fuel. I think. Yeah, he's run out of fuel.
Not what you want to be doing. As on board with Deadly Flu, of course, Marcel Kiefer's community is repping out here tonight. As well as he's going through then in P6. Mark in P7 as well, as we'll go back to him.
He's on a lap, so I expect him. I think Mark could do something.
He could do something. Here comes Deadly Flu across the line. He goes, and he stays in P6 for now. But we go on board with Mark then, as he's going into the second half of the lap then. Looking pretty good in that first sector. Very clean from what I've been told. And onto the back straight he goes. The old pit lane here at Silverstone, as we've got a back marker going very slowly. That is Shazam, as he lets Mark by. Absolutely flat there. Oh, and someone's gone off ahead of there. I'm not sure who that was. That was a Williams.
Hash, I believe. Hashiko. Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't. I do apologise.
Superfan. It's Superfan because Ace has already retired.
Yeah.
He's indeed. Ace, Mark up by 2.5 tenths though on his best lap, so he could be a shout for the top 5 here potentially into the final couple of corners he goes through. Stowe very tactically going 7th gear there. That's a surprise to see. Normally we're going 6th gear through there, but maybe better for his setup potentially. As he's coming into the final 2 corners then, is this going to be improving for Mark then? As he comes out the last corner, as we've got AlphaTauri in the middle of the road, and I'm not sure what Dimitri was doing there, but Mark does move up to P4, but Dimitri may be getting a penalty there, or some form of that, because...
What on earth was he doing?
100% sure what he was doing there, if I'm going to be honest, so...
How on earth did Mark could have beaten Nigel if not Dimitri was not in the way?
The only thing that lets him off is it was after the line, and that was Mark's last lap anyway, but yeah, I think there's going to be questions asked about what Dimitri was doing parked in the middle of the road at the final corner. Mark needs a new gearbox and wheels after that. I feel bad for him.
Indeed. Also, big shout out to Ben, who's continuing the gifted sub that he got from Pro Enigma. So Ben, good to hear, mate. You're going to be staying with us in Pallet Club right now. So the drivers will have to retire, if they can, of course. Josh, I believe, is the only man we're waiting for right now. So he has done that. And who else? Shazam also needs to retire as well. So if Shazam is listening, he needs to retire from the session. And speaking of the devil, he's done that. So thank you right there. But Nick's on pole then for the first time in the series by 3.5 tenths from Michael Lander. Nigel in P3, Mark in P4, Shazam in P5 on debut today in the E-Prix series. Pretty good job there from him. Nubidu in P6, Deadly Flu in 7th, Johannes in 8th, Enaz in 9th, and Max O'Connor in the top 10. And the rest of the field will be on your screen there. But interesting stats, this one, I've got to say. And the question on both your minds right now, is Hypers from the back of the grid just made a big bad decision there, starting from the back of the field with Nix showing some really strong pace?
Oh, 100%. You do not want to deliberately start last when you're in a race with Usain Bolt. Just don't do it. Next, I don't know the guy, but he is ridiculously quick. He looks esports ready. So Hypers might be kicking himself right now, but who knows? It's a long race. Safety cars, etc. could happen. So anything can happen.
In a way, Hypers could still climb up the field, but he's going to still challenge the likes of Nigel as well. And he's got to get past Nix as well. We've seen the battle between Hypers and Frederick Rasmussen in Hungary. Could we see a repeat of Hypers having a long battle with his fellow rivals for the win? We could see Hypers versus Nix for the win here today. You never know.
Yeah, who knows? It's definitely overcast. I'm desperately trying to get memos around different teams in the pit lane, see if anyone will tell me about the weather. Clearly, I've been blackballed by every team on the grid, but I'll see if I can get you some weather update later in the race as we're going to go down to the grid.
Indeed. So let's have a look at strategies then. Let's see if anyone's gone for tyres. And we can see Josh, Brian, Superfan, Akaz, Ace, and Hypers all on the medium compound tyre. Everybody else on the softs. And that is a very interesting call from a few of the drivers. And we'll have to wait and see. But the question I will have to come back to both of you on before we start this race. Who is going to win the British E-Prix? And we're starting off with T-Boy.
100% Nix. He just looks like he's been on another level. He's just so ridiculously quick. And hey, he's got that number 18. Like I said, the first ever British Grand Prix back in 1948 at Silverstone. It was won by a number 18. Sometimes these things just go full circle.
And Jess?
Oh, I don't even know. I think I have to agree with T-Boy. Nix has been strong all weekend, and you know he's got to learn though that he can't. As long as he doesn't spin, he should be absolutely fine and dominate. Really, to be honest. And the pit stop strategy has popped up on my screen. So lap 10 to 13 is where we expect people to pit on the softs. And interestingly enough, inside sources, a lot of people doing soft to medium strategy, which I thought would be impossible with these tyre wear. But I think the drivers are going to prove that it is possible. So we'll see.
Well, you say that, Jess. I mean, I did a race here with some familiar faces in the community, and it is soft medium for definite. I know this, and I pitted early as lap 7 and got to the end on mediums, and the undercut worked out there, which I would give a shout to Hypers for letting me know about that strat from a few sources. So people may do some undercuts here, and now the strategy has come up on my screen as well. So lap 10 for the softs can run for, and then they have the choice of medium hard tyres, but it is very overcast here, which could play a factor in the temperatures as well. So we're going to have to wait and see as Nix lines himself up then onto the grid then. And my money, I believe, I'm going to go for Hypers. Is going to be my bold prediction. I think he's going to win from last on the grid, which would be a massive moment in the E-Prix series. I think it'll be only there'll be the first time from someone from outside the top 10 will win the E-Prix, but it's going to get very, very interesting as the last couple of drivers make their way onto the grid, and it's going to be tasty. Chat, are you ready for the final race of tonight's proceedings? The British E-Prix is about to get tasty right now. The lights are on. Bit of an issue with the glitch, of course, with the lights, and away we go. And it's a jump start for Mark, but of course he has got the cheeky host start there and will lead the race of that one. But of course he may get through, and there's big contact. There's been big contact. Nixon, I think that was Nigel as well, making contact there into turn 1. Big moment in this race, but they both got through scot-free there. But big moment in that race there. Our prediction has just gone out the window completely there. What a chaotic start to this E-Prix.
Yeah, Nix looked like he turned in on the AlphaTauri. I'm not sure who that was. I think the AlphaTauri got some front wing damage, but yeah, Nix just sent spinning round. I think Nigel just got caught up. That was absolute chaos at the start, but Mark leads, which is good for the mods, I suppose.
Indeed, I've got to say that was a mad start, and that has just caused carnage. Hypers, by the way, from last place is already up to 12th place after half a lap.
Crazy. I mean, he's avoiding the carnage, and it's helped him. He's done a lot of practice around this track, and you know, I mean, I think you are proving the doubters wrong, Ryan, with his probably last 2 challenges. We're seeing some battles on the midfield.
Indeed, it's getting very tasty in the mid-pack. As you can see, look at the cars down the hanger straight. As we've got an overtake going on here, this is Deadly Flu versus Joanna. Some Deadly Flu around the outside. And I think he's got it done there. What a beautiful move that from the Red Bull driver and up to P5. A great move there. As we've got our first pit stop of the race already. Enaz in already after lap 1 as Mark leads.
That must be for damage. I can't believe he'd want to pit that early unless he knows something we don't about the weather. I'm still desperately trying to get some sort of insight from the teams, but I'll see what I can do for you two.
Okay.
We'll have to wait and see. And here's a new front wing as well. Raisin also going for some cheeky new front wing as well. As we've got someone off as well. Who's that in? Is that? I think that was Elza who had a spin at out of Village, I believe that is.
Yep.
So, and we've got another one as well. Who's that off as well? That's Max O'Connor as well. He's gone for a spin as well in the Mercedes there. Also at the same corner. So turn 1 and 2 proving to be difficult, I've got to say right now.
Yeah. We're getting a good old-fashioned standings glitch because it's currently shown on the stream that Max O'Connor is in the lead when we've just seen him do a complete Booker T spinneroonie.
Sorry to interrupt you there, T-Boy Kravitz. Hypers has lost it apparently off camera. We didn't see it, but big thanks to Joe in the chat for informing us. But that's made this race even more spicier now, with Hypers with a spin as well. But T-Boy Kravitz, I think you've got something for us.
Yeah, I've finally been able to get some sort of insight from the teams. I went down to Williams, and let's be honest, they're desperate for the cash. I paid them to tell me what the weather report was looking like. And they're saying we're going to get some heavy rain relatively soon. They're suggesting that it's Silverstone, it's August, it's going to rain. So they're predicting some rain is not that far away. They're telling me that maybe within the next 10-15 minutes it will be chucking it down. So the drivers are now going to start thinking, do I just pray that my softs hold on until the rain turns up?
I've got to say, people on those medium tyres, they probably are probably going to kick themselves if they've got this tyre strategy wrong. Maybe that's why a lot of people are on these soft tyres, potentially. They're going to hope that the rain comes a bit later on, whereas the soft guys, they're going to hope that the rain comes a little bit sooner than they think, so then they can get the soft tyres off.
Definitely, and we've got a bit of a training. So Josh is out the race. He's crashed. I believe that's on the hanger straight. I think I don't know what happened there actually with Josh. We'll have to get some confirmation there, but the virtual safety car is out right now, and obviously that's going to help the soft runners a little bit, cool their tyres down a little bit. Mark will be in a good spot right now, but it is very dark out there at Silverstone. When will this rain come? For the soft runners, they've got to hope before lap 10 at least right now.
Yeah, it's been reported that Superfan is stuck in overtake mode. He's got an ERS issue, so his car is going to be draining ERS battery for literally no reason. I don't quite know what happened to Josh. I'll see if I can find out, but it looked like he might have hit the Hanger Straight Bridge, which that's a scary accident if he did.
You have to wait and see. Demichi also out of the race as well. He's had a disconnection, which I'm afraid for him, his bot's going to have to take over for the rest of the race because I don't think there's any backup invites, I believe. I could be wrong.
Bots are very effective. We've seen it once this weekend.
We have seen it. Newbie by the way, in the pit lane, and unfortunately for him, it's just gone green, and he's also got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So, and unfortunately for Shazam as well, he's got a penalty for speeding under the safety car as well, which is a drive-through penalty in this game. So that is a big blow to Shazam's debut here in the final, and it's going to help Mark extend his lead at the minute, which he's got now currently at 2.9 seconds, but it's going to be more than that. It's going to be 5 seconds once Shazam comes in for his pit stop. As we've got Johannes and Nubidu in the pit lane. Nubidu onto the hard compound tyres, guys. That's a bit of an interesting call from the Ferrari boys.
Yeah, I've got to say, Nubidu, I obviously we don't know much about this weather than anyone. Depends on the game, really, to be honest, on when it decides to. But I think it may come a bit later by the sound of things. I think the Ferrari guys are maybe playing a little bit of Ferrari strategy, I think. But we'll have to wait and see once the rain comes.
Gafter was on board with Hypers just then as he's just overtaken Alcaz for P10. So Hypers back on the charge right now, but he's got a lot of work to do from his incident he had earlier on in the race as well. So not looking too bad as well. Nix is a man we haven't mentioned, of course. He's up to 7th place from his incident he had at the start of the race, and he's trying to make a comeback. He's going for not 1, but 2 overtakes down the hanger straight, and up to P5 he goes. What a move that is from the racing point, and his challenge now to win this race is back on.
Bring it on for Nix. That is fantastic. I mean, he's one of the fastest guys on this grid, and you know, he was in 18th place after that spin, and he's back in 5th place. What?
That was reminiscent of the move, if you've not seen it in the Formula 2 race earlier, where they went 3 wide. It caused Dan Ticktum a little bit of grief, but that was an absolute amazing move by Nix, though. Great drive.
Hashtag spoiler
Also,
alert.
yep. Go on, Jess.
Hashtag spoiler.
Spoiler for Formula 2 race, if you don't watch Formula 2, then you feel, ooh, big moment for Nix.
Big moment for Nix as well. He's got the overtake applied there as he's trying to chase down Lemmy as his next victim as well. But Mark has a 3-second lead at the minute over the pack behind him. And on board we go from him right now. We've got plenty of Urs. He's got no one behind him. He's taking it easy as Hypers gets the job done and up to P7 as he's on the course to try and catch up through the field right now. But no sign of the rain just yet in this race as Max O'Connor gets a penalty for corner cutting, and Dimitri and Brian having a little scrap for P8 as we're going to go on board with them. And Brian gets up to P8 now. And he's just sticking behind Hypers. They're both on the medium tyres. And I think for Brian, he can just sit back and just see what Hypers does and just follow him into the pits. For strategy, of course, as they're on the same tyre.
That's what I would do, to be honest. So we need to think of a system of when we talk. We keep interrupting each other.
As well, but back on board then with Hash now, looking pretty strong in P6, Jess, and Hash, obviously we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, one of the dark horses has really improved his pace over the course of 2019 to 2020, and looking pretty good as he's got Hypers all over the back of him going to turn 1.
Here we go. Hash, I think, will be a bit wider coming up to this turn 1 because he's got one of the esports guys of Hypers really breathing down his neck at the moment, but he's holding his own little Hash in the AlphaTauri actually, so he defended that quite well, but Hypers is going to get the DRS and he's already in a good position to get the move on Hash as we've got, let's see if he can get the run into the end of the Wellington straight, and he does it quite comfortably up to P5, T-Boy.
Yeah, it was a great run down the Wellington straight into Brooklands. It's one of the best overtaking spots on this track with the DRS, and now Hypers is just going to have to put his foot down. He's got about 0.8 of a second behind Lemmy, who is 2 seconds behind Nix. So he's just got to keep the pressure on Lemmy. Hope he makes some sort of mistake, because while it's a high-speed track around here, it's not that easy to overtake at Silverstone. There's only about 2 or 3 overtaking spots.
Indeed, and back on board Hypers, he's already onto the back of Lemmy. This should be job done for Hypers. Down the hangar straight he goes, and this should be job done, sealed and delivered. But I tell you what, Lemmy's not giving up here. As around the outside goes Hypers and takes that P4 spot. A beautiful move there from the Veloce esports driver, and now on the charge now. And this is what we want to see, Nix versus Hypers. And speaking of Nix, he gets the fastest lap as well with a 28.2 as he's now closing in on Deadly Flu for second place here, Jess. Well, I think he's got some issues, I believe, with technical there. So we'll go to T-Boy as well. T-Boy, any news on the weather?
Not any news I'm hearing at the moment. I've been back down to Williams and they're saying that they're expecting the rain, if it does come, to clear up, but they're still expecting rain. But their prediction of it coming in 10 minutes' time has proven to be wrong, and now it's seeming to brighten up a little bit. So maybe, if there is going to be rain, it's going to be pretty weak. If there is any, they are thinking it might have just missed the circuit. It might have gone to the north of Silverstone, so it is definitely brighter on one side of the track now.
I forgot to unmute. So apologies, guys. Apologies. I was drinking water.
I think the rain's gone to Milton Keynes. I think it's missed the circuit, so
that's some good news.
It's brightening up, which is what we want to see as well. So
I don't like the rain. Keep it dry, because a wet race is just drivers skinning and sliding. We want to see drivers demonstrate great car control, and also hopefully marked away.
So back on board with right now, and you can see Mark with a 9-second lead already as Enaz is out of the Grand Prix now. Ooh. He's DNF'd. I think he's crashed, and it's another VSC right now. And one person who's made a big call that is Hash. He's in the pit lane, off those soft tyres onto the hard compound tyre. That's a good call from him. And I think Shazam as well is also pitting off those soft tyres. Good call from those two.
But the pit lane is quite short, quite long, I mean. So he's going to lose a lot of time in the pit lane at the moment. So to be honest, technically it's like a free pit stop for them, as everyone is trying to match the delta. So Hash is going to benefit for this massively as Johannes gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under virtual safety car. Another one to add to the list. That's not good, T-Boy.
No, as for Yanez, the instant that caused this VSC, he just dropped it coming out of cops. It's such a basic error, but it's such a high-speed corner that sometimes these things happen. But yeah, basically you get a free pit stop under VSC, so he will be over the moon at the moment as we're still watching Nix try to keep up the pressure on Deadly Blue. The gap is about 0.75 as we go back to the box.
Indeed, and we can see Mark is extending this lead. And I'll tell you what, this is good news for Mark, actually. If Flu can keep Nix behind for as long as possible, which I don't think is going to happen now, is look at the run he's got down the hanger straight. Easily passes Deadly Flu and is now up to P2. And now he's got to find 10 seconds. As speaking of the devil, Mark is in the pit lane, our race leader, coming in for an early pit stop to try and do a bit of an undercut to try and keep his lead from Nix and Deadly Flu and Hypers as well.
Yeah, this just shows that Mark
oh wait, no on.
Oh
wait, no, Mark's got a drive-through.
Oh.
Mark's got a drive-through penalty.
Oh,
I believe that
no.
could be for VSC. That is a big shame for Mark. He's just come into the chat and told us that actually now. That is a massive moment in this race for Mark. His lead that he had has gone completely, and that is a massive shame for any Mark fans in the chat. And he's now dropped to P8 and is fighting with Akaz right now. So that means Nix leads the Grand Prix now from Deadly Flu, and obviously Hypers is there lurking behind with 2-second gap right now. I told you, Hypers has got this in the bag potentially now. If maybe the rain may spring a few surprises, but come and get some rips in the chats for Mark because he deserves it. He's been screwed by the game apparently, and we'll hopefully get some more clarification from his engineer Alex about his drive-through there.
Yeah, Mark will be disappointed about that, but we've seen quite a few glitches in the VSC on this game, and I've experienced quite a few, and it definitely costed me a chance of getting positions. But Mark, the race is not over. Maybe he may try a different strategy as well, but Hypers is closing in on Deadly Flu. Could we see the move that Hypers is looking for to turn it into a Nix versus Hypers battle?
Indeed, and Hypers, by the way, has got a penalty for corner cutting as well, which came on the screen very quickly with Akaz as well. Michael Under joins at the party right now, of penalties now in the penalty club right now. So this is going to play into this factor right now, as Hypers now fastest man on the circuit with a 28.1 right now. So Nix here going for the longer strategy, it seems, with these tyres, T-Boy, which you mentioned. He's going for the longer one, so we can have fresh mediums to the end of the race.
Yeah, he's trying to go to fresh mediums. Hopefully the rain doesn't come. I'm going to have to keep this very short because I'm hearing myself through my own headphones, so this might be my last little update for a little while. But the rain has definitely missed the circuit, which if you're expecting rain, that's a big shame. It's definitely the afternoon, so if I were these guys, I'd be going on to the mediums right now. That's going to be the best tire till the end of the race. 16 laps to go.
Well, you say that, Jess, what T-Boy said there. We see Michaelander and Shazam on the hard compound tyre. They're going to try and be preserved. We've seen in real life the tyres went completely off the scale last week, and obviously the game has got the tyre compounds set up from last week's Grand Prix. So maybe they're thinking maybe tyre life. The track is warming up, of course, and that front left does take a beating around here. So we may see some punches later in the race.
Yeah, we could see a real-life Silverstone situation. You never know, but hopefully that doesn't happen as Hypers makes a move on Deadly Flu and up into P2. But speaking of Deadly Flu, he's in the pits right now, and we're getting more...
Nix in as well.
Yep, Nix is in too as well. So Atomic, I wonder... Now, Hypers is on the medium, so he's got a few things to go. But his pit window has just popped up on my screen, so I think he's going to box his lap.
Yeah, he's got to react, I think, but his softs won't get to the end, though. That's the problem. He's got to get to around about lap 16, and he should be fine, but Hypers has got to put in some good laps on the board right now to try and keep the gap, as we've got a yellow flag in Sector 3, Sector 2, I believe that is I think that was Hash, actually, had a mistake. Hash boys making work of Lemmy, and he's out of the way. Mark, unfortunately, with his drive-through now out and away, and his strategy's been scuppered, so he's going to drop down the field. But Ace looking pretty good as well, Jess. Into the top 10 for the first time in this race.
Yeah, Ace is doing not too bad, actually, I think. And he's trying to have a battle with Michaelander as well, who are on different strategies. And Don't forget, Ace still yet to pit, of course. So Michael Lander has got to get past this traffic, because otherwise he's going to lose so much time to Deadly Flu and Nix, who they've been battling for quite a bit, actually. And Ace is doing his best to hold Michael Lander up, but he's putting up a really good fight in this race so far.
Got to say, a good clean battle between the pair of them here, which is great to see right now. But Michael Lander, the quicker of the two drivers right now on the hard tyre. Maybe the hard tyre is the best race tyre, maybe in this Grand Prix. We're going to have to wait and see. But Hypers' gap at the minute, you can see, is 9.1 seconds to Brian, who now inherits that P2 as Joanna's gets a penalty there as well. And Ace, yep, as you mentioned, really good job as Hypers plops in 2 attempts quicker on his best lap there to a 27.9. And now really on the charge. Now you can see Michael right on the back of that Williams car. But good to see the Williams actually in the points for a change, with Superfan and Ace now holding on there. As we see now, Michael going for that move just around the outside.
He's got to nail this, otherwise he's screwed for pretty much the rest of this race, and he does. Nicely done up into P8, and he's dropped a bit back from Deadly Flu though, 5.4 seconds.
Yes, indeed, as Dimitri in the pit lane then for his pit stop. And we are seeing, of course, no more pit stops. It's a one-stop race, unless a safety car comes out. That could spring a few surprises out, actually, later in the race, but we'll have to wait and see on that one as Dimitri pops out then. Shazam obviously had a great start to the race. Unfortunately, he's down in P10 on those hard compound tyres. And Nigel behind him as well, 1.6 as well. So not a good day in the office for some of our top 5 positions in this race, Jess.
No, it's not good at all. I mean, you know, they've lost quite a few positions, actually. The biggest losers, I've got to say, were obviously Mark, who binned it, and obviously Matt Sakona, Johannes, and Nubidu. They're right down the pecking order now, and they've got a lot of ground to make up, of course. But Hypers has gained 19 positions, but he's still yet to pit, of course.
Indeed, and it is a very long pit stop without a VSC, of course. So it's about 28 seconds, I believe, is a pit stop around here. So I think for Nix, as we're watching him right now, he's got to floor some good laps here. Not to be on the pace of Hypers, but of course his tyres will go off somewhat at this stage now. But Nix has got the advantage at the minute of some clean air, which is very important around here, Jess, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Clear air is absolutely key around here, and obviously Nick is not going to get that much advantage compared to the likes of Hypers, and obviously Deadly Flu, who's got cleaner air, who could catch up as well. But wow, look at that. Nick's 127.3 on the mediums. I want to actually see what his other laps were, actually, before that. Let me just have a look. 27.3. I think he had a little bit. Yeah, that was when he pitted. And, yeah, faster than the soft tyres. That's incredible. I think the closer he got on the soft tyres would have won 28.2 on lap 6. So, and he's going to go and try and get past some traffic now. He's getting past Alcaz. And he does, up into P4.
Yes, indeed. This is a key moment of the race, that one there. With the overtake, he's gone purple in the first sector as well. With obviously a little hand of DRS there, obviously, to Akaz. So Nick's on the move right now, and I think Hypers is going to be thinking, okay, I might be in a bit of an issue right now, but for Hypers, he has a penalty, remember, as well, Jess, which is going to be the big pivotal moment if it comes to it at the end of the race. Nick's, I do believe, has not got a penalty as it stands right now, but Hypers still staying out there, Jess, on those medium tyres. Is he thinking maybe it could be some rain maybe at the end of the race, maybe? I'm not sure. I would have thought he would have pitted. Oh, yeah, it's still lap 14. He's still got another couple of laps.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoopsie from me, chat. I'm a bit...
Get the bottles in the chat, guys. Come on. Get your bottles in if you're a subscriber. He deserves it.
I do. We've not had a bottle today, and which is quite...
Are there any mods in the chat, by any chance?
We have Alex and T-Boy. I think T-Boy is just having some technical issues with his mic, so hope to see T-Boy Kravitz back in the booth once again. As we've got a retirement, Jess, and it's Lemmy, and it's another virtual safety car.
That's the third one, isn't it? So 2 more, and then that'll be it. But I'm seeing no safety cars, though, but I think, where did Lemmy retire? Let's go on board with Hanger Straight. Let's see if I can see. I've just missed Hash's car. Oh, no, Lemmy's car. I think it just gone as soon as I went on board with someone, so that's a shame. But Shazam, Ace, Michael Lander. Well, Michael Lander's going to love this as he goes into the pits right now. And he's got a penalty.
Importantly for him, he's taking that penalty and getting out of the way, Jeff, so that could play a factor in the race. Hash, unfortunately, like we saw with Mark, has got a penalty, a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, which is a common factor we've seen in this race already from a few people as well. But Mark's making a recovery. He's up to P7 now, but he's got Nigel all over the back of him.
Hash is out.
Position there. Hash out of the race, and he's crashed actually out of Village Corner. And they're dropping like flies now. We've got 16 drivers left in this race, but no safety car.
Not yet, Ryan. Do not jinx it. As it's a shame for Hash. He was looking strong all weekend, but unfortunately, I think the pressure got to him. I'm not sure what happened to cause that incident, but hopefully we'll get a little bit of an inside source on that. Meanwhile, Ace, I think, just made a move on not Dimitri, and he's up into 11th place, and 1 place more, and he'll be in the points.
He would indeed, and that'll be good for Ace. In his first final, he's on course for a point. And Ace on the soft tyre, Jess, which is interesting, but we think the tyres can go to the end of the race. We've got a battle going behind, though, between the 2 Alfa Romeos. And is that also Nubidu as well in the mix as well? It is indeed. Nubidu gets the job done on Dimitri and moves himself up to 13th place, as he's now going to be closing on Johannes right now. So Nubidu fans, you will be happy to hear that we're now going on camera. Of course, as Hash has put the bottle in the chat, I think he's had a spin. Of course, Akaz finally makes his pit stop and is on the hard compound tyre, Jess. We're seeing some weird strategies going on from the field right now, I've got to say.
Well, to be fair, I think he expected things that we're not seeing. So, you know, I mean, we could... I don't know, mediums could have been alright. That could have gone to the end, or even the softs as well. But I'm guessing he doesn't want to risk it. Maybe he doesn't have enough softs left. Or mediums. That's why he has to be forced onto the hard compounded tyres. He just wants to make sure he gets to the end. As he's almost been challenged by Matt O'Connor in P8, of course, going through, I think, turn 3 as Alcaz is getting a little bit of a good exit, actually. And no, he hasn't. He's spun. That's a shame.
Commentator's curse there from Jess. And Jess, big move here of the race. Hyper's in the pit lane. Our race leader's in for the final stop. And is Brian going to react to this, or is he staying out? He is staying out.
Mark spun. He's got front wing damage, and he's missed the pit lane.
That's the back straight, Jess.
Oh, sorry.
That is a big effort for a Jess, but this has released Nix's superfans in the pit lane right now. And we've got a safety car, Jess. Safety car is out, and that has not helped the likes of Nix there, unfortunately for him. And this has thrown a spanner in the works, I've got to say. He does inherit the lead, of course, but he is on the medium tyres. But one man who is going to benefit from this massively is Brian right now. But of course, he's already caught up to the safety car, so unfortunately, he's going to lose out there. But advantage now has to go to Hypers again.
Yeah, as well. That's just quite a few other people as well. And obviously, Mark still has to pit, so Matt O'Connor could still be getting an advantage as well. We could see a very surprising finish, I've got to say, from some of these guys. And look at this. Superfan on the soft tyres took advantage of that safety car. He's up into 4th place.
That came out at the right time as well, but Thomas cursed it apparently in the chat.
Who?
Tom.
Oh, Tom, we blame you.
Tom, we're blaming you for that one, mate. But Mark has been saved here by the safety car, I would say. He's going to drop down, of course, but he is going to get some fresh tyres. But I do feel bad for Nix and Brian right now. They have lost out here massively right now. And we could see Superfan got up to P3 here, but I wouldn't count Nix out yet if he pits, because obviously there's a big gap. All the drivers at the minute will have to stay within VESC speed, Jess, of course, which is going to be critical right now. So that's good news. But of course, for these guys, Nix and Brian, they've got to hope the safety car gets a little bit of a pace going on right now.
Yeah, everyone has made their pit stop now, apart from Brian. So this is going to be a scrap for the finish, pretty much. And you know, if we get one more VSC, then it's just pretty much a sprint race until the end, which should make things interesting nonetheless, as well as Nix
is staying out.
Brian's in the pit, so he's going on the soft. He's going to drop down, of course, but I'm guessing Nick has want to put the challenge up and say to Hypers, you know what, I'm not pitting, but that's not going to stop me challenging for this win today.
Oh, and Brian has been disqualified, Jess, for...
That's a glitch. That's a glitch. He shouldn't have got that.
For ignoring a yellow flag. That's a bit interesting. He's in the pit lane, though. That's the weirdest thing right now. Or... So is he still racing, Jess? Is going to be happening?
Let me see.
I'm a little bit baffled by that one. Hopefully Brian is still racing, but the big shock here, Superfan in P3 and Ace in P5.
Wow.
I'll say great job from them, but the drivers have got to be careful now not to hit the back of each other, as they will get penalties. But Nix surprisingly stays out there, and if he did pit, he would have been around about, I'm not sure actually, he would have been P8, I would say. Is Nix, but he's taking the gamble on those medium tyres to get to the end of the race. He is going to be on better tyres at the end of this race, Jess, which is going to be the key factor if the safety car comes in this lap.
I think there's a spectator glitch because Brian is still on track and he's racing.
Oh, that's thank God for that then. Spectator glitch galore right now. Because he Hyper's there. Little lockup from there at the old final corner. Nix is right on the back of the safety car, Lewis Hamilton style. Telling the safety car, pick up the pace, mate, right now. But for some of these guys, they've got to get a move on, like the likes of Mark as well, and also Johannes as well. They've got to catch up to the safety car quickly right now. As we've got a little bit of a battle going on here between Noobidoo and Alza as well, who's got a penalty for corner cutting. They're trying to get to the back of the train quickly before the safety car comes into the pit lane. They're going to burn those tyres very quickly. But even Johannes as well, he's got to get a move on right now. But I think this should be fine, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. But whoever's just pitted onto the soft tyres, they're gonna hopefully get the safety car last for a bit longer because those tyres will definitely make it to the end. And they're going really slowly on those softs, so they're able to save a bit of tyre wear and tyre life as well. So it's not going to be as hot towards the end of the race.
Indeed, safety car staying out yet again. A big shout, by the way, to DJ Gareth Walker, who's coming into the who was subscribed thanks to a gifted sub from Hash. So Hash, thank you for gifting a sub. And DJ Gareth Walker, if you're in the chat, welcome to Paddock Club, mate, and enjoy your emotes, mate.
Your wet
well,
tyres,
but,
is that right? Wet tyres?
Yep, he is on the wet tyres. So apparently, Jess, Noobidoo has passed Mark under the safety car, which is a bit naughty from that. So that's a bit naughty from Noobidoo, unless the game is.
Oh no, be that's Mark through. It's all good.
I think Noobidoo is let by Mark. So if they get penalties, we will scrap the penalty. So if Noobidoo gets a penalty for that, then it's fine. We will make sure to get the penalty cleared. But I think the stewards will not take that to the to be investigated because Mark is back past ahead of Noobidoo. But at least all the drivers now, Jess, have a second chance here. The likes of Nigel, the likes of Shazam as well, is up to P7 now in this race to try and redeem themselves from earlier on in this race.
We got all three tyres. Well, actually, yeah, all three tyres used in this race. With Alcaz the only one on the hard tyres. And we got quite a lot of people on the softs. The only people on the mediums are Michael Lander, Alza, Not Dimitri, Shazam, and Niz as well. Everybody else is on the softs. And no, Hypers is not on 18 lap of softs. That's just a game glitch, sadly.
Yeah, we just want to clear that one up in the chat as well. But look at the positions gained. The big winner is obviously Hypers, obviously from the back of the grid. But Superfan, 13 positions, along with Ace as well, 13 positions. Akaz up to 11, but the big loser in this is Michael Lander. 13 positions, Jess. Not a good day in the office for him.
Nope, it's not. But, you know, he's going to have some fun nonetheless. And for the fair play to, I think, to guys who are still going. And to be honest, you'll learn more if you're on the track, to be honest. And an interesting fact for you, Ace has only turned off no assist very recently, and he's been very impressive.
Yes, indeed. But the stewards have now confirmed the race control. That the safety car is coming in this lap, so now it's going to be in control of Nix as he's going to get going there. Ace gets a penalty with a collision with Akaz, but I think it was
Akaz got a penalty. Akaz got a penalty as well.
I think it's the penalty where both of the drivers get it. So unfortunately for Ace, he's got a penalty, but we'll probably take the penalty away from him because that was a bit unfortunate for him. As Nix has gone, Jess, he's floored, he's gone for it, and he's got to make moves now. He's got to push now with only about 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix. He's got to push as we go back green flag racing here at Silverstone.
Let's go racing here at Silverstone as we got a few dropouts, I think. Oh my goodness, there's quite a bit of carnage, I think, at the start. Akaz is out of the race. And I did see a few spins as well, a few dropping positions. Max O'Connor dropping a few positions as well. That promotes Michael Lander up position 2. As well, but everybody else got away quite clearly as well as the AlphaTauri of Michael Lander almost got into a little bit of a pickle, but he stayed where he is, thank goodness. He's got the Renault on
Change of lead here.
Shame for the lead, here comes Hypers.
Change there. But he's giving plenty of room and he's going to go around the outside. We've seen this with Lando Norris overtaking Daniel Ricciardo at this corner and gets it done, brilliantly done there. Hypers leads the Grand Prix with a beautiful move, and I believe that's going to be game over here to the rest of the pack unless anybody can try and keep up with his pace right now. But it all depends on how his tyres are going to last in these last 8 laps of this Grand Prix. The track is getting warmer right now as it's clear skies, And those softs are going to take a massive beating if they get a
VSC.
VSC, Jess, once again.
That's it. I think that's the final one. So no more safety cars, no more VSCs.
But I've got to say, overtake of the day, Hyper's by a mile with that one there. Beautifully done there, Jess. A very difficult place to overtake as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, Hypers is doing brilliantly, I've got to say. He'll get driver of the day if he nails this last to first challenge, I've got to say. And definitely putting a statement to say, I'm coming for the esports guys when he's old enough, obviously. He's 14 at the moment. He's not going to be that long before he qualifies for F1 esports, of course. And, you know, he's showing that literally you can do it from any age. You don't have to be old, you don't have to be young. You don't have to be. You could be any age, basically. That's what I was trying to say. As Shazam getting another drive-through penalty.
Oh, second one of the race. Not been his friend as the VSC today, but it has released it. But one man who could be qualifying, Jess, if he gets a move on, is Superfan. He's on fresh tyres. He's only a second behind Nix, and even Ace as well. Don't count Ace out yet. He's only 7 tenths behind. Penalties could play a factor in this. But we could be in for a bit of a shock here, potentially. Who's going to qualify?
That's why I'm not going to be looking at penalties.
Sorry to interrupt. Yes, Shazam's gone for a spin. And it's gone from bad to worse for him. And just checking in, he's not reset to the track, and he hasn't. So good job from him. And away he goes. And very unlucky for him. But he can take away Jess. He's done a great job. And Ace is gone.
Oh, no.
The disconnection has struck again for the second time. And that is a real shame for Ace. And there's his chances gone of a potential podium gone in this E-Prix, but it's now going to be between Superfan and Deadly Flu for that podium position. And speaking of which, Flu's going for the move, Jess.
Yep, here he goes. He means business, Deadly Flu. His chance for pretty much qualifying is on the line as well. But obviously, we don't know what the penalty situation is going to be. But to be fair, let's hope Ace gets a move on and gets in this lobby really quickly if he has any spare invites. I think he should do, because he
should do.
Yeah, he should do.
But DRS is enabled. But you know, we're saying Hypers may walk away with this, Jess. I don't think it is, because actually Nix is gaining. It's still keeping a second there. So if he keeps going at the pace he is, as we've got a yellow flag, and I think Shazam, he's out the race. He's given up. I don't blame him. He's had a disastrous final race, but he can definitely take away Jess. In his debut, in the final, was in the top 5 for the majority of this race. He's going to be happy with that performance, I would say, on his debut. Yeah,
I've got to say, Nix, he's doing fantastic, and you know, my prediction could still come true, and we'll have to wait and see, of course, as maybe Hyper's tyres is starting to burn out a little bit. Maybe he was pushing a little bit too much. You know, we'll have to wait and see. And penalties could play a factor. We could see.
Oh, yeah, that's a factor as well, Jess. Sorry, Hypers has a penalty of 3 seconds. So Nix, if he doesn't get a penalty, he could be on course. If he keeps within 3 seconds of Hypers, he may win this E-Prix.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Does Deadly Flu have a penalty? Yes, he does. He has one.
He does indeed.
And Ace has just joined the session, but that is he's dropped down to 8th place. That is a shame.
So the question is, has Nix got a penalty? If he doesn't, he's got to keep within 3 seconds if he's going to win this E-Prix. He's only got 5 laps to go, as Hypers is now knowing he's got to push like a madman as he sets the fastest lap now at 26.5. But his tyres are going to be going off very quickly, but Nix, all he has to do is keep within 3 seconds, and he's got a chance here.
I've got to say, Nix is 1 warning off a penalty. Just 1 warning. He's on 3 warnings now, and Max O'Connor's out of the race. That is just in the pit entry. Yeah, he's retired in the pit lane.
Oh, we've got a spinner, Jess, as well. Owls has gone for a spin as well, as he's now back away, and he's also, I think, going to be retiring from the race. I think because he's coming into the pit lane as well. So not what we want to see, but didn't want to get to the end, of course. But maybe he's going to pit for some fresh tyres and maybe go fastest lap. We'll wait and see. Hopefully he doesn't retire, because I would like to see more people right there. But my Delta's gone. My timings have disappeared.
So is mine. So is mine. Don't worry, Ryan. It's not just you.
So, yep, ours is gone. He didn't listen, so he's
obviously
entirely... Would have been nice to see him finish there, but let's see the times. Is it going to update? No, it's not. So we're now in the dark here about who's where right now, but I think that's around about 2 seconds, I believe, is the gap.
Oh, battle, Ryan. Battle with Nigel and Superfan. Nigel gets it done nicely, similar move to what Hypers did earlier on, and Nigel's up to P4. If Deadly Flu's got no penalty, So it could change things up quite a bit, actually. Johanna's got a 3-second time penalty as well. But yeah, Nigel looked quite comfortable, obviously being the faster guy. But still credit to Superfan, of course. Mark has still come back in this as well. He's right behind Superfan.
Indeed, we get a yellow flag out. I believe that is Owl's car. I think he may have retired not in the right place as his ghosted car. Oh, no, now he's gone, which is good news. But good news for Knicks fans. He's got DRS, thankfully, from that ghosted car, which parked up out there. But he's 2 seconds, Jess, still in the mix. He's got to hold on for he's got to keep 8 temps now in the last 3.5 laps of this race. Can he do it, is the question.
We'll have to wait and see. Let's get our opinions from the chat. What do you think, guys? Is Knicks going to win this race, or is it Hypers?
Now remember, Hypers has a penalty as well. He's got the gap to 2.1. He's got to hold on within 9/10 of a second. Hypers' tyres is going to be the biggest factor as well. If his tyres are going off quickly, which I hope someone in the chat is going to inform us about tyre wear for Hypers right now. He still has 2.2 seconds gap right now. It is going to come down to the line, I think, at the end of this race right now. I've got to say as well, Mark on the move now, as he's now up to P5, as he's overtaken Superfan down the hanger straight, gets it done, and now he's on the charge. Now he could still get on this podium, Jess, maybe, on those soft tyres, and think of where he would be if he didn't have that drive-through penalty.
Yeah, he would have been on course to be winning this race with that pace he's showing. So that is, I think, what could have been for Mark. So shame, but, you know, he still gets some good points out of this race as well. 2 more laps to go. The gap's now 2.6. Hypers, I think, has been told about Knicks having no penalties. He's absolutely pushing to the limits right now. He's burning his ERS to the rim right now. He's on 18%. He just wants to win so bad, and it'll be a massive achievement for him. But Knicks also wants to make sure that he can keep it up as well. But don't forget the gels on the tyres. They're about, I think, 8/10 slower than the softs, the mediums. So Knicks, I think, is doing well to keep up, but it's going to be close. As Michael Landers got past Superfan, and I think Superfan has been overtaken by 2 cars there. So he might have had a little bit of an off there, but, you know, he still could be in the point, and he's got a penalty as well. Yeah,
it went wide there, went over the curb there. It's going to be very tasty right now as nice little ding-dong battle here. Michael Landers, Joe Anderson, Superfan, of course. But at the front of the field, you can see that gap is now 2.8 seconds, 2.7 now. And Knicks has got more ERS, Jess, which is a factor. But Hypers has got to absolutely floor it now with 2 laps to go. He's got to find within 2 attempts in 2 laps to get this in the bag. But it is so close between the top 2 right now.
If I was rooting for an underdog, I would want Knicks to win, but I don't know. I mean, maybe Knicks could push Hypers to a mistake. We'll have to wait and see, because you never know. If Knicks gets a penalty, then that's his race over. 2.9 now.
Indeed.
He's within that 3 seconds. Top Hypers now. Oh no, he's not. He's dropped a bit, but I think Hypers going to win this race now. I think he's got this in the bag.
He is indeed, and he's at 16%. It's about equal, actually, on ERS between the 2 of them right now. So, Hypers, you got to remember as well, he can't afford another penalty. And that is a slam dunk victory for Knicks at the minute. He's got to think about that one as well. Knicks gets a great exit. It's now 3.1 seconds. He has got to be thinking now. He's got to find time at some stage. And he's actually gaining a bit of time. Fuel as well is going to be a factor as well, Jess, as well. We're seeing that Knicks is gaining a bit in this middle sector to Hypers.
We'll have to wait and see. Will we see a stat show for obviously the first Silverstone race? It was won by the number 18 car. Will we see that today? It's still possible. 2.9 seconds. Knicks wants this. I know a few people in the chat want this as well. So, you know, 2.8, he's gaining. Oh my goodness.
Gotta say, insight sources, Hypers is on 2 warnings. 1 more and he's going to get another penalty, and that will hinder him massively as we start the final lap then of the British E-Prix. Hypers has the advantage by only 3/100ths of a second. He knows he's got to push like crazy, Jess, if he's going to win this one. And it looks like advantage is going to go to Knicks right now.
You know, Nick can't afford to make any mistakes. He's got to have a perfect lap. And to be honest, Hypers can't afford to make any mistakes. Knicks has had the upper hand right now. He's got more ERS to play with. So I guess he's been saving quite a bit, and it's going to be ever so close right now. Nigel's also on the back of Deadly Flu as well onto the Wellington straight. Let's see if Nigel could challenge for the podium, as he has a brilliant move just past the Wellington Straight, and there we go. He's up onto the podium positions for now. Still don't count marks. Obviously, we still got penalties to come into the fact. What's the gap now going into sets 2? 3.1 seconds. Oh my goodness.
It's coming down. It's nearly exactly 3 seconds. It's within hundredths of a second here. Who is going to win this E-Prix race? It's going to come down to penalties, chat. It's going to be close. And it looks like Hypers is using all of his ERS. And I think as well, Nix has got enough ERS here, but he's still got to find 600ths of a second at this later stage. It is so close. It's going to come down to the wire. And here comes Hypers. Then provisionally, he is going to win the British E-Prix. But is Nix going to do it? But Nix has bottled it. And it's going to be Hypers who is going to win the E-Prix by only 0.2 of a second. That lockup has cost Nix the win this afternoon. And Deadly Flu has pulled a brilliant overtake on Nigel on the last lap of the last corner to get P3. What a drive that is for Flu. And gets that 3rd position. Nigel's going to get 4th. Mark is going to get 5th place from a great recovery drive with a drive-through penalty. Noobidude's going to get 6th place. Brian in 7th. Superfan in 8th. Joannis 9th. And Michael Anders going to get 10th place, Jess. What an end to that race. And I've got to say, Nix was so close to putting a big shock here today. And Hypers, of course, gets driver of the day, Jess. What a drive from him. What a race that was. He
was my driver of the day. And fair play to Nix as well. We challenged him right down to the line. And I think Hypers is going to be so relieved. I think he must have been absolutely worried. He was probably asking his Jeff so many times there. And, you know, he's qualifying for the finals in the E-Prix next week. And guess what? Nix has done it as well. So he's got an automatic spot in the final on his debut as well.
Yeah, fair play to Nix. He's done an outstanding performance there. So fair play to him. And Jess, why don't you take us through the final positions for today's final in the British E-Prix.
Okay, so Hypers takes the win from last to first. He's completed the challenge here, chat. Nix in P2, Deadly Flu in P3 after starting P7. A good result for him. Nigel in 4th, Mark in 5th, Noobidu in 6th. He stayed where he was, which was great to see. Brian, 7th place, started in 12th, so he had a good performance. Superfan in 8th, Johannes 9th, and Micro 10th. And then the rest of your finishers are Ace, Dimitri, Alza, and actually no, Alza retired. So your non-finishers are Alza, Matsakon, Shazam, and Alkaz, Hash. There's quite a lot of retirements. Lemmy, Enad, and Josh as well, who has retired sadly. But what a race! What a race! That was crazy.
I've got to say, yeah, cracking race that one. I've got to say. But fair play to everybody though. They did a great performance, and it's great to see as well. And that, Jess, has been the E-Prix broadcast, which is it's been a good race, I've got to say, today. It's been really good, and really good to see some interesting surprises. No interviews today, chat, sadly, because I do need to head off now. But big thanks to all the drivers, and sign-ups are going to be going live tomorrow afternoon after the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. It's going to be on that one right now. But today, chat, we're going to be raiding someone